For more details on Preferred Pros, visit 975fanatic.com.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Hey, small business owner, when's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But some don't check their rate often. Did you know rates can vary? In fact, taking 3 minutes to check your rate with Pi Insurance could save you up to 30%. Just go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for you with no hassle or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could save you money. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi, or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
This week at Macy's, find your signature fall look with big savings on incredible specials. Like 30 to 50% off cool weather coats for him and her. 40 to 60% off designer suits and blazers he can dress up or down. And 30 to 40% off the season's must-have boots and shoes during the Great Shoe Sale. Or use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 20% off more great deals at Macy's. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Don't miss out on the fantastic deals at the Fred Bean Semi-Annual Used Car Sale happening this Friday, Saturday, and Monday. You can enjoy huge savings on our entire inventory. You can find used cars priced as low as $6,000 or choose from over 1,700 certified used vehicles with special finance rates as 3.9% APR. Hurry in and see why used cars are better at the Fred Bean Semi-Annual Used Car Sale. Online at fredbeansused.com. Call 267-362-3019 for full details.
Your home, your family, your moments. First Alert is reminding you to be prepared and install smoke and carbon monoxide alarms on every level in every bedroom of your home. Don't forget to add First Alert fire extinguishers on every level, plus the kitchen, and know how to use them. Protect your moments and your home with safety you can trust by visiting firstalert.com and Lowe's stores today.
By the time you're finished listening to this Pepsi Zero Sugar, you'll be 15 seconds closer to kickoff. Stock up now because game day is so close you can almost taste it. Football watching. Better with Pepsi.
Don't miss the Sports Investors Daily Radio Show. Host Chris Hodge breaks down college and pro games from a gambling perspective every Saturday and Sunday morning at 8 on the Fanatic.
Nothing brings families together like a world-famous tomato pie from Corpalese Bakery and Deli. 4 generations of pride go into everything on the Corpalese menu, including hand-carved deli meats and cheeses, freshly baked breads, rolls, cookies and pies, hoagies and party trays, specialty cakes and stromboli. Go back to a better time at Corpalese Bakery and Deli in Norristown, Audubon, and Limerick. Want to join the Corpalese family? Apply today at corpalesebakery.com.
It's a new era of orange in Philadelphia, and you don't want to miss the Philadelphia Flyers hit the ice at Wells Fargo Center this season.
Pass down on the tip, they score! Oh, and Tippett goes to the net!
Be here for the home opener when the Flyers take on the Vancouver Canucks on October 17th. All fans in attendance will receive an opening night t-shirt presented by Fanta.
Frost the shot, he scores! Morgan Frost!
Get your tickets now, only at PhiladelphiaFlyers.com.
WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5, The Fanatic. Win $1,000 right now. 97.5, The Fanatic's Kelly Green Cash.
It is The Fanatic's Kelly Green Cash. Your chance to win $1,000 in a brand new 2023 Birds Kelly Green jersey. Just text the word WORTH to 45911. Not Jason Worth, but Worth. WORTH to 45911. Or you can enter on the Fanatic app or at 975thefanatic.com. One winner selected at random. Win $1,000 in this company-wide contest. Winners will get a call from Beasley, so be sure to answer your phone. Complete rules at 975thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic's Kelly Green Cash is presented by Rand Spear, the accident lawyer. Demand Rand. Call 1-800-90-LEGAL. Please never text and drive. Good luck. And a good Friday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salchunas. Midday show, 97.5 The Fanatic. It is a football Friday. It is an NLDS Friday as the Phillies get set to take on the Braves tomorrow. Game 1, 6:07 first pitch. And then, of course, on Sunday, the undefeated Eagles, the 4-0 Eagles, take on the LA Rams. A little bit of a different team than we expected going into the season. They've played all right, and they got Cooper Kupp coming back, it seems. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for the Eagles on Sunday. But I would imagine we're all on the same page and saying that we still feel good about the Eagles going out to L.A. and taking that game. And then, really, we find out what happens game 1, Phillies-Braves tomorrow. I said it yesterday. I don't want this to happen, but I said it yesterday. I feel like they do split in Atlanta, but I think they may drop game 1, and Wheeler is just so incredible Monday night that they win game 2, and they come back to Philadelphia tied at 1 win apiece, which that's the same thing they did last year, and that's kind of what you want out of it is a 1-1 split coming back to Philly. Obviously, we'd rather get game 1 out of the way with the win because that would probably make us feel a little bit better, make us relaxed a little bit more, and we'd be way too stressed out going into a game 2 if they were down 1-0. But hey, whatever. I think they come back to Philadelphia tied at 1 win apiece, and that's all that matters. That increases your chances of winning the series and moving on to the NLCS. I want to do something a little bit different today, right? Because Eagles-Rams, not for another 2 days. I love doing what I do here on the station. I do the pregame show on Sundays with Bob Cooney and Pat Egan. So I really focus X's and O's. We really focus X's and O's for the 3 hours leading up to kickoff. So on Fridays, I like to have a little bit more of a light show, like a pep rally kind of show for the Eagles, and definitely a pep rally show for the Phillies when they begin the series tomorrow. So like on a football Friday, normally football Fridays, all right, here's what you're going to do. Here's what you're going to do. A little bit of a different schedule for me. So I do a lot of X's and O's on Sundays. And look, I'm still open for it. Later on the show, we're going to preview this matchup between the Eagles and the Rams, look at some of the strengths of the Birds. Can the defense look better after their performance last week against the Commanders, who the Bears beat up last night? And the weapons and the quarterback, I believe, for LA is more of a difficult task than what the Commanders threw your way, even though I like Terry McLaurin a lot. But, so we'll do all that kind of stuff later on the show. But I want to start off a little bit more lighthearted, but I want to celebrate just the fact what is going on right now. I want to celebrate that the Phillies are back in the NLDS. I want to celebrate that the Eagles are undefeated. This time last year, we were going through the exact same thing. Phil's Braves NLDS game 1 in Atlanta. The Eagles were undefeated. It was the exact same scenario last year. And so we're back at it this year. And the other scenario is celebrating you, the fans. Because this time last year, we got put on the map. Right? There's all this talk about how we're these awful human beings and don't go to Philly, blah, blah. They're terrible human beings. I told you about my experience going down to Florida for the Eagles and Buccaneers game and the amount of Uber drivers, the amount of bartenders I met that were like, wow, we thought you were like these nasty human beings. You guys are all really nice. Yeah, we're just more passionate than many other cities. Because a lot of sports fans in other cities suck. They don't know the ins and outs of their team. They don't know what's going in and day out. We do. And that's why we are so passionate during games as well. Because we are so involved. We are so invested financially with our time. Like, there is so much that goes into being a Philadelphia sports fan. There's not many. I know that there are more people watching Phillies baseball right now that probably weren't watching 2 months ago. But there's a lot more daily fans. You know, you guys listen to the radio. You guys listen to your podcast. You read your articles. You have Twitter follows. We are just so enamored by Philadelphia sports that it doesn't matter if it's the actual game or the storylines surrounding the teams. We are so sports crazy in this city that when it comes to the big moments, when it comes to the wild card round, these last 2 games in this week, when it comes to last year's playoff run, when the moment is at its brightest, we show up in a big way. And you're talked about. You're talked about by, I saw Barstool. There was a clip going around that Philadelphia is the best fan base in the world. And look, they're in New York, right? They're head honchos from Boston. And they talk about Philadelphia sports fans being the best fans in the world. Because when things are going well, when things are going bad, we're still invested. But when things are going well, it's a damn party here. And it's a place that opposing teams do not want to come into. So I want to celebrate you, and I want to celebrate the Eagles and Phillies. Because you know what we're really good at? We are good at complaining. Like, we're really good at pointing out flaws. All season long, we were pointing out, maybe not me, maybe not Ray, but a lot of you were pointing out why the Phillies weren't going to go on a magical run this year. Right? They won 90 games. They had a very good season. But a lot of people would point out why the Phillies weren't going to go on the run. Well, how about we point out why the Phillies will go on a run? You know, right before the end of the regular season, there was a lot of doom and gloom. But I said on the air, I remember, Ray, I think you were with me at the time. I said on the air, once the playoffs start, that doom and gloom goes away. I don't care what your thoughts were on the Phillies all season long. I hope that come first pitch of the wild card round, come first pitch of the NLDS, and hopefully the NLCS and World Series, that you put all those nerves aside and you just completely have the back of the Phillies. And I think we started doing that in the wild card. And I can't wait for that to continue in this next round. But what I want to do is I want to celebrate and point out the good things of the Phillies. Because all year long, it was, the bullpen, Rob Thompson, They're back in the playoffs. They're a good baseball team. Let's celebrate that. Oh, my God, Jalen Hurts doesn't look good. Brian Johnson doesn't look good. Sean Desai doesn't look good. They're 4-0. Do I have my concerns with the team? Absolutely. I said if Jalen Hurts, thank God, he played really well last week. But in the first 3 weeks, I said if he plays like this, they're not going to win a Super Bowl. I knew he wasn't going to play like that all year long. I knew it was going to come through soon, and we saw it last week. But for all the complaints that we've pointed out to the Eagles, all the flaws that we keep on pointing out, because that's what we do. We have Super Bowl expectations. We have World Series expectations. So what do? We look for the flaws to find out why they're not going to go back. I'd rather do the opposite. I'll put on the green-colored glasses today. I'll drink the red Kool-Aid today. I want to celebrate the Phillies. I want to celebrate the Eagles, and I want to celebrate you today. Because all these years, we get kicked, we get beat up, we get talked bad about. Now all of a sudden the tide's changing because people see what's going on in Philadelphia during the wild card round. There were 17 people at a Rays game the other day, right? We had 46,000 people. They have to open the gates for more people come playoff time for standing room. So let's celebrate us today. Celebrate the Eagles, celebrate the Phillies, and celebrate us. What are the things that you love most about being a Philadelphia sports fan? What are some of the things you love right now about being a Philadelphia sports fan? And then let's celebrate the good of the Eagles and the Phillies as we're about to begin another incredible weekend in Philadelphia sports where the Phillies begin the NLDS against the Braves and the Eagles look to improve their record to an undefeated 5-0 record. 610-632-0975. And on top of celebrating us, there are a lot of things, like social media has been incredible this week. You know, Christy actually put it out to me yesterday. You've been on your phone a lot this week. I can't get enough of it. I can't. And you know me, I don't look at my phone, right? I'm an old man when it comes to the phone. I don't look at it. She pointed out that I've been looking at my phone a lot this week. You know why? I see all these stories. I see all these videos from inside and outside Citizens Bank Park. I brought my kid to his first Phillies game, period, and it's a playoff game. Look at how excited he is. Like, these videos, they make me weep, man. I love it. And so there are two more things that I saw on social media today that I want to bring up to you in the Star of the Other Side, because it's two more cool things that show just how amazing you are, Philadelphia. And I'll give you those next on the other side. 610-632-0975. Andrew Salchunas. I'll get Ray's thoughts on everything next right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Busy weekend in Philly sports. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by UPSjobs.com. Ready to shift your future? Make great pay as a seasonal warehouse worker, package delivery driver, or tractor trailer driver for UPS. Apply at UPSjobs.com/shift. The Phillies and Braves get going in the NLDS this weekend. It all begins on Saturday. Game 1 of the NLDS is Saturday night in Atlanta at 6:07. It's a rematch of last season's NLDS, in which the Phillies won in 4 games. I know you haven't forgotten that. The Braves will pitch Spencer Strider in Game 1, with the Phillies still yet to name a starter. Many speculating, believe it's going to be Ranger Suarez. Still wait and see on that one. The series has an off day on Sunday before Game 2 in Atlanta on Monday, also at 6:07. And then the series shifts back to Philadelphia. The Eagles traveling west to take on the Rams. The Eagles are 4-0 for the 7th time in franchise history. This weekend already will be without Fletcher Cox due to back discomfort. And some positive injury news. Britton Covey returned to the practice field at a limited capacity as he tries to get cleared from concussion protocol. Eagles play the Rams in LA on Sunday at 4:05. In training camp, going to be all wrapped up shortly for this Sixers team as they're out in Colorado. James Harden showed up to camp practice. Everything right now seems as fine as it can be. We'll keep you updated with that situation. Keep it locked here for all the latest news and information. I'm Ray Dunn for 97.5 The Fanatic.
Join Andrew Salchunas, Pat Egan, and Corona Monday at 6 for a playoff watch party at Top Tomato, 116 South 11th Street in Center City. Catch all the action and enjoy $5 Corona and Corona Premier cans and Modelo drafts. Plus, the first 50 people get a free Red October t-shirt. Corona, the official cerveza of Major League Baseball.
Hey, it's Ricky Bowe, and I want to tell you, construction sites are notoriously dangerous. It's not just the frequency of accidents that happen, it's the severity of the injuries that result. Whether the accident is caused by poorly maintained equipment, ignored safety regulations, faulty materials, weak scaffolding, or exposed electrical hazards, the employer is often negligent and at fault. But they'll try and blame the employee in order to escape potential liability. That's why, as soon as you experience an accident, you need to call 1-800-JUSTICE and get a free consultation from the personal injury experts at Swartz Culleton. You may be eligible for more than just workers' compensation. If there's a third-party liability from property owners, equipment manufacturers, or other contractors on site, they'll find it. And they'll make sure you are properly reimbursed for recovery, rehabilitation, loss of income, plus non-financial aspects like pain, suffering, and emotional distress. Need to know more? Visit SwartzCulleton.com or call 1-800-JUSTICE. In this David versus Goliath battle, they're the ones carrying a big slingshot.
Hey, it's number 59, Seth Joyner. Join me on the BetParx Sportsbook app, and you're in the zone. BetParx is the official casino and sportsbook app of the real Philly fan and the only app I recommend. Bet more than the score. Bet player performances like total passing and rushing yards. Bet total team touchdowns. Bet who scores a touchdown. And nobody does live in-game betting better than BetParx. Bet on the action as it happens. Join me right now and download the BetParx Casino and Sportsbook app. New customers make a winning $10 bet and get $125 in bonus sportsbook bets back. Must be a winning bet, and bonus bets must be wagered once. The BetParx Sportsbook is the only sports betting app that I recommend. Live betting, parlays, props, teasers, they have it all. Like me, I'm sure that you love to play, you love to win. You bet. BetParx.
Must be 21 in NPA, New Jersey, Ohio, Maryland. Number 1-800-GAMBLER.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
This is David Keller from David Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. And you know I love Philly sports, but when I'm not at a game, I take care of my clients. Sometimes, it seems harder than ever to buy a car right now. And then when you do, you go into service, and it's awful, right? Well, I can fix all that. I mean, forget about the old way you bought a car. I'll get you the car you need, the terms you need, and then I'll take care of you right up until you buy your next car. Because I love my clients, and I love our Philly sports teams. And that's why I've always been your dealer. You just didn't know it.
Ricky Bowe here for Alpha Men's Center. Did you know that most men over age 50 have ED? Over 60%. Don't let that number get you down, because Alpha Men's Center has a 96% success rate treating ED. Yes, 96%. Right now, your first consultation is only $99, which includes the visit, blood work, and test dose. Schedule yours today at alphamencenter.com or call 484-685-1235. Get off the sidelines and back in the game with Alpha Men's Center.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, if you're thinking about getting the latest iPhone, check this out. With Boost Infinite, you get the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Yeah, you get the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro that was just announced. Then again, next year you get the latest iPhone. Every year. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. To learn more, pick up your phone, dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. That's pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from this station's network.
If you've fallen out of love with your home, maybe you just need a refresh. Contact CertaPro Painters and we'll put the power of pro to work for you. That's CertaPro's power to transform living rooms and rejuvenate kitchens. The power to get the job done right, on time, and within your budget. Get that lovin' feeling back with the help of CertaPro Painters. Start your project at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Home improvement contractor registration numbers are available at CertaPro.com.
Now is not the time to call it quits on your lawn maintenance. Fall's actually the time to give your lawn a little extra love. So that come spring, you're going to have that lush green lawn that you covet. Well, Paul B. Moyer & Sons in Doylestown and Jamison, PA has been providing weekend DIYers and professional landscapers with outdoor power equipment, parts, and repairs for nearly 100 years. If you've been considering a zero-turn mower, look no further than a Gravely zero-turn that's guaranteed to mow the distance. Shop in-store or online at my friends, PaulBMoyer.com.
Fall is the in-between season. In between summer and winter. In between flip-flops and puffy parkas. And in between soaring heat and frigid cold. Which makes it the perfect season to upgrade your comfort with special financing offers and rebates on a new high-efficiency heating and cooling system from Trane. Including a whole-house air filtration system to keep the air you breathe clean and safe. Visit Trane.com to find an independent Delaware Valley Trane comfort specialist near you. It's hard to stop a Trane. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for details.
Welcome to the Fanatic family. This is 97.5 The Fanatic.
10:22. Is this a remix of that Fireballs song or whatever?
I have no idea.
Fireflies. I remember when this song came out when I was in high school, and it's like a remix. This is Very strange. 10 o'clock hour brought to us by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90Nation or visit windownation.com. And it is a Football Friday, Bob Cooney. Football by Bobby. Football Fridays on the Fanatic, presented by Pumpman Philly. For 24/7 emergency repair or pump replacement, count on Pumpman Philly, the guys to know to fix your flow. Real quick, we got some stuff coming up this segment that I'll let you know. And I see Steve wants to talk about Philadelphia sports fans because I want to celebrate us today. But real quick, if you missed it on the Jockey Cade morning show toward the end of the show, right before the beginning of ours, it was beautiful. Bob, Pat, Jamie Frankel, and other members of the station got other people from around the media and some of our incredible clients and advertisers on the station to put together a beautiful tribute video for John Kincaid, he's getting close to finishing his treatment. So they played it at the end of the show. Today's the first Friday, so they did the show from our event center, which is right down the hall. And we all stopped by and gave a nice standing ovation. Pat liked the idea of kind of what they do, the stand up to cancer during baseball games. So a lot of members of the station were there, and the people who were in the audience for the first Friday, some of our great listeners were here. My man Matt Caddyshack was here. It's funny, right? I interact with you on social media for almost 10 years now. I've been here for 9 years. So I've interacted with a lot of you for a lot of my life all of a sudden, right? Almost a third of it. And then you finally get to meet some of the people. So that was a beautiful thing. So I want to give a lot of credit to the morning show, or, to everybody around the morning show, not John, for putting together that video for John. And John, you keep on fighting, man. It's great that he's almost done. So we're still thinking about John, and hopefully things are just done soon, and then he can get back to living the life that he wants to live. So beautiful stuff by the morning show today. Coming up later this segment, we will play Nick Sirianni's press conference, speaking to the media this morning about Sunday's matchup against the Rams. So we will play that for you in a few minutes. Ray Dunn, the stuff that we started the show with. I want to celebrate Philadelphia. I want to celebrate the Phillies. And I want to celebrate the Eagles today. Because I feel like we are so good at complaining. And sometimes we don't, every once in a while, it is good to look in the mirror and say, you're doing a damn good job. It's okay. It's okay to do that every once in a while. It's okay to say, you know what? We're working hard right now, man. I'm proud of myself. It's okay to be proud of thyself. We should be proud of ourselves right now because we have shown up in waves at these playoff games for the Phillies, obviously every single week. I was just in Tampa, and it was 50% Eagles fans. Like, that is so super cool that we do that. And then I want to be proud of the Phillies and Eagles as the Phillies are about to go in the NLDS, and the Eagles are about to hopefully become 5-0 on Sunday. I think we can do that today, Ray.
I think we could do that, too, and I think we should do it.
Absolutely.
I think we're right to do it. I'd like to think, of the things that I'm most proud of in terms of what we're doing right now, just the shine of seeing everyone down at Citizens Bank Park, the support, the fact that, it's the Marlins, it's a wild card series, but we don't care. It's the postseason. We're going to fill that place. We're going to go nuts. We're going to get crazy with it. And you should think that's a given. And that should be a given. That should be the nature of a fan base for a postseason game. But it's not the norm everywhere else. The thing is, we have normalized being absolute lunatics for our teams, and that is awesome. That's the one thing when you put this out, I'm reading over what we're going to go over today and just talking about this. The one thing to me is we have normalized the behavior that should be across sports that is just not there. That should be across fan bases, and you see it with the crowds and with the way other fan bases go about supporting their team. It's just not the same.
No, it's not. So Bradley Ryder just tweeted at me a minute ago. He says, do you think Atlanta is going to try to match our passion? Yeah, they're going to try, but they're just not going to. Like, they've already, I read some of the posts yesterday. There was a Facebook post about the Braves, Braves, Phillies, watch the games on TBS, blah, blah. The amount of Braves fans that are complaining, how come you don't reseed in the playoffs? They're so nervous. They are so nervous that the same thing's going to happen as it did last year when the Phillies went to Atlanta, took one of the two games in Atlanta, came back home, and they didn't get to see the Braves again until spring training. And they're so nervous for that, and I love it. And so, Bradley, they're going to try, but they're not going to, you can't fake what we have. And I think that's the coolest thing. Minnesota Twins fans, I don't know what the ballpark's like on a nightly basis
$7.
in Minnesota, but like $7, right? Like there is no way that they can just go out there and all of a sudden fake being a big baseball town. Like we are real. And we might not show up at a game in June when the Phillies are being run by Matt Klentak and Andy McPhail because we work hard for our money, damn it. And we want to go to the Eagles games and Sixers games instead because they're the team that's putting the product on the field that you think they have the best chance at winning. Well, now, as the years go on and it's being run by Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton has realized the error of his past, all of a sudden, the Phillies are now the team in town with the Eagles, of course. And it's real. Like, we go out there, and it is real. We do not fake it. And I think that's one of the best things. So 2 things I saw. And let me know when Sirianni's ready to go. Is he good to go? All right, we'll play in a couple minutes. 2 things that I want to highlight regarding Philadelphia sports fans and how freaking awesome you are. Number 1, there was an anonymous beer buyer at Citizens Bank Park the other night, game 2 of the wild card round, and paid over $4,000 worth of beer for the entire section. Everybody got a free beer. And look, they're tall boys, and we know how much they are. So an anonymous Phillies fan, and this is the beauty. If you got the money, if I had boatloads of money, I would love to just take care of people. So good for that guy, because there are people that have boatloads of money and are still cheap. This guy's got boatloads of money. The vibes are immaculate. All-time high at Citizens Bank Park, and goes, you know what? I'm going to treat my section to over $4,000 worth of beer. Unfortunately, you weren't one of those lucky members of that section.
I was in the wrong section the other night.
But how cool is that?
Oh, that's awesome.
I feel good if I buy you a beer, right? I can only imagine being able to afford a whole section's worth of beer and seeing how excited. When you get a free beer, you're happy. You go to any of these promotional events and it's like, Corona's here. And check out me and Pat Egan doing the watch party at Top Tomato on Monday for the Phillies' second game of the playoffs, brought to us by Corona. You walk in, you get a free Corona. You're happy. You might buy 5 more after that and still spend a lot of money, but that first beer tastes good.
Oh, yeah. I felt like a great person. I had a long week. I was like, I'm going to treat the people I'm with to a beer with me. And I was like, wow, I bought 4 beers in a Phillies game, and that's a lot.
And
someone went out and bought $4,000 worth of beer.
$4,000 worth of beer.
Like, well,
that's really cool.
That's good stuff.
Now, another one that I saw that was really awesome. I just saw the tweet this morning, but this was tweeted out on October 3rd. So that was game 1, right?
Day before game 1. No, that was game 1.
It was game 1. All right.
Again.
I've known this Twitter account for a long time, again, doing this and, following all kinds of Philadelphia stuff on Twitter. But there's a guy named Stoner Philly Fan on Twitter. And his picture's awesome. It's the eagle. It's the Birds logo with the red eyes because he's a stoner, right? So Stoner Philly Fan tweeted this out on October 3rd, the day of game 1. A kid who works for me, he's 18 years old. Huge Phillies fan. He's going to the game tonight and asked if he could leave early. And I'm like, bleep, yeah. I'm going to allow him to go even earlier today. That's what this is all about, him spending time with his friends and family with the Phillies. And he actually got in trouble, not the kid, but Stoner Philly Fan got in trouble by the higher-ups. And he's like, dude, get over it. I love that he did that. That he allowed some 18-year-old kid, who knows if that 18-year-old who was 17 last year got a chance to go to any of the playoff games. But even so, I was 13 through 17 and then didn't see the playoffs again until I was 28, right? You never know how long it's going to be until the next time. So I appreciate Stoner Philly Fan for allowing this 18-year-old kid to get off his job early to go to the Phillies game. And that's really cool. Like, Ray, you had tickets to go to game 2. I'm dead serious. You were hoping that the game was at 8 o'clock. If the game was at 2 o'clock, I would have told you to leave. I know how to run the board and do the show at the same time. I would have told you to leave because that's the beauty of it. I mean, these opportunities don't happen often. I mean, the Phillies have made the playoffs 16 times since they were formed in 1883. It doesn't happen all that much. So enjoy it. And I love that there are people out there that are letting other people take off from work early to go to the Phillies game. And that 18-year-old, he's not working a full-time job. He's working a part-time job where they probably depend on him for being there 8 hours. I used to work at a pool store. I worked 8 to 8. I was working 12-hour shifts at a damn pool store. It was me and the manager. If I didn't show up that day, the whole operation would have been shut down because he would have been by himself, getting stuff from the back, running people up at the register. So his 18-year-old probably doing something like that. And they probably needed him to stick around. But they said, you know what? Go for it. So I want to celebrate you today. Philadelphia sports fans, celebrate the Eagles who are undefeated. Celebrate the Phillies who are going into the NLDS. And I want to talk to you about it all at 610-632-0975. Nick Sirianni in a minute. But let me go to Steve, who wants to talk about being a Philadelphia sports fan right now. What's up, Steve?
Hey, what's going on, Andrew?
What's up, Steve?
So I'm walking around here, and, on cloud nine like it's Christmas morning. And I think, like you said about celebrating the Philadelphia fans, I'm 40 years old, and I think, we've suffered a ton of misery, horrible Phillies teams, horrible Eagles teams, the Flyers, even the Sixers. And, we always had the negative spotlight on us about how crude we were, rude we were, and we were so sick and tired of it. And I think what upset us the most is that what people didn't understand across the country was it's just different here. It's a way of life. It's not just sports and entertainment. We live and die with our team. When the Eagles lose on Sunday, people are pissed off at work on Monday. And I think finally, the spotlight has been shown that we are a damn good fan base. We are deserving of being celebrated, and we're deserving of having winning teams in our city. Growing up, my dad, I can only thank him. He's no longer with us, but he instilled in me, what it was to be a Philadelphia sports fan. And,
right.
And I'm passing the torch to my kids. And, last year I had a 7-year-old and a 13-year-old, and they were in, but they weren't in, with every pitch and every inning and every game. And I was trying to get them in, because I don't think what they don't understand, because they've seen a lot of winning lately, is that, winning's not easy. And this may be the last time, hopefully not, but, it's not like we're in the playoffs every year.
Right.
It's not like we're winning championships every year. So you really have to soak it up and embrace it, because as we know in this city, we don't know when the next championship's going to be, and it's just an amazing thing to be a part of. And I wear my Phillies hats, my Eagles hats with pride when I go into other cities, other states, because I'm damn proud to be a Philadelphia sports fan. And it just hits different here. And I think last year the national media finally shed some light on it. The guys who were doing the broadcast,
oh yeah,
game, post game, I think they were even taken back, because that negative stigma probably was in their mind too. And I think it finally, it's just different here. People just don't understand it. I'm not saying other cities don't have good fan bases, but it's a way of life here. I feel like I'm part of the Phillies organization when I'm in the stadium. I feel like I'm part of the Eagles organization when I'm watching the game on TV. Like I'm with them, with the team. And it's just been, an unbelievable run. And it's like, damn, we're good teams now. People want to come here. You see it when people like Trey Turner and Bryce Harper, they want to come to Philadelphia because they see, I can only imagine Bryce Harper going and playing for the Nationals and watching 10,000 people in the stands. Half of them show up late, leave early. That's not what he puts his entire career based on. He goes out there now and he sees 46,000 people literally spending every dollar they have to go watch 9 innings of baseball. And I said to my wife lastly, and this, that's all I have to say is, I was walking around happy as can be the other day. And I said to her before the first pitch, I said, this is where we get our money's worth. This is where we clock in, that April 20th, 10-1 loss where I sat and watched all 9 innings and suffered through that entire game. This is where I cash in now, to be able to soak in the reward of having our Philadelphia Phillies back in the playoffs in the second round, and hopefully kicking the Braves' asses out of the playoffs like we did last year.
Absolutely, Steve. Listen, man, I appreciate the call. That was perfectly said. Honestly, the first 30 minutes of the show that I did, you might as well take it out of the podcast and start with Steve. I just got in the Ray's ear and I said, hey, grab this call. I'm going to replay that later on, because the way he just sort of spelled it all out, the way he painted the picture of how proud he is to be a Philadelphia sports fan right now. I mean, that was music to my ears. That was beautifully said. And so we're going to play that later on the show because, I'm at a loss for words. That was absolutely perfect by Steve. All right, Nick Sirianni spoke earlier this morning. Here's the head coach getting you set for Eagles-Rams.
How y'all doing?
All
Good.
Nick, big picture, what's your evaluation of the defense through this point of the season? What you like, what you would like to see work?
Yeah, I think we've done a nice job turning the ball over big time. I think we have 9 or 10 forced fumbles, which is outstanding 4 games into it. Like everything, we have things to clean up. Like on offense, like on special teams, we all have phases of the game that we need to clean up, but I think they're doing a good job of, and the run game's been outstanding as well, doing it a couple different ways. We've had some leads that have went away, in games that we have to do better when we have maybe not only just a 1-score game, but also a 2-score game. And that goes both. That's just not a defensive thing, right? That goes in how you're handling the offense as well and the plays that you're running there. So that's where we want to get better. But those are a couple things that I think we've done well, and one thing we all really want to work on. Yeah, just that ability to come in like Sua did last week, right, and play an outstanding game. They've worked hard for an opportunity to be able to have more reps if that's the case, if that's what happens this week, and just take advantage of opportunities, right? And so that's what being a backup player in this league's about, is that you got to take advantage of your opportunities and make them count when you get them. So that's what really what I want to see, and just play with that energy and that passion and that fire that they've been playing with at practice, since they've gotten here.
How has Roby's integration in the defense gone the last couple of days, and does he have a chance to have a role on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, without giving up too much information, we feel like he's done a nice job getting to know his teammates, getting to know the defense, and we feel good that where he is right now. And getting himself, I know he's been working out, but it's still different when you're out there playing football. So, with pads on, with the spike, everything. And so, but we feel really good about where he is, and we're really happy, again, really happy with him and what it looked like this week.
What's your assessment of the Rams and what makes them a challenge?
Yeah, I think, speaking of their defense, they got one of the best players in the NFL on their defense. Anytime you have a guy like that, it can change the game. You better be aware of where he is at all times. And so, and then they got other good pieces around him as well. I think that they're coached extremely well. I have a lot of respect for Coach McVay, and the job that he's done year in, year out there. So they're really well coached. You play a team with a good quarterback, anything can happen there too. And Matt Stafford's done a really good job for a long time. Looks like Cooper Kupp will be up, right? I mean, that's the way it's shaping up. He's been an unbelievable player. They got really, really outstanding players, really good football coach, and Coach McVay. And so, they're going to be well coached. They're going to be, he's going to put them in position to succeed, and players can make plays. And so that's what, the star power that they have is going to be a challenge, and we're going to have to be knowing where those guys are at all times.
One of the guys you mentioned, one of the guys, young guys who would obviously play more if Fletcher can't, would be Milton Williams. What have you kind of seen from him this year, and how has he kind of improved from the previous years?
Yeah, I think, he's given us great plays and reps since he's gotten here, and that's why we took him. I think it was the 3rd round, why we took him there, because we had a lot of hope that what kind of person he was and what kind of player he was. And he's just, he's been a vital key to a really deep defensive line group for the past 3 years now. And so, with more opportunities, he's just going to show what he can do more and more. Excited if that's the way it goes, the extra reps that he'll get, and not only him, but the extra reps some of the young guys that will get if Fletch can't go. That haven't played or suited up or gotten a lot of reps yet this year. So, but Milt's done a great job. He's a great teammate, great player, works his butt off, and he's been on a steady climb of getting better since he's gotten here because of the hard work he's put in, because of his football IQ, and because of who he is as a person.
Offensively,
how do you think Nick Morrow has handled kind of everything that's transpired for him over the past month and a half? And recently he's emerged as a key contributor for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, not making the initial roster to having 3 sacks last week, right? That's somebody that has taken advantage of his opportunity. That's somebody that hasn't let the ups and downs of a season affect him. He just keeps steadily working. I think that speaks a lot to the character of Nick. The type of person he is. Obviously, he's a great football player, and he showed that. Last week, especially with the way he played. But he's been playing steady since he stepped into the lineup, and so. I got a lot of respect for guys that can handle it's easy to be on top when you're on top and feel good when you're on top, but how do you keep working when you're not? And I got a lot of respect for, we got a lot of guys like that, and Nick Morrow's definitely one of those guys.
There he is, head coach Nick Sirianni. His Friday press conference as the Eagles get set to take on the Rams this Sunday. Hopefully the Birds improve to 5-0. Obviously, you got to pay attention to Aaron Donald. You got to pay attention to Cooper Kupp and then that Puka Nacua. There's a lot of good weapons on the Rams, and a team that we thought would maybe be like 1-3 at this point or 0-4. They're 2-2, playing well, and the Eagles got to go out west to take them on. Still feel good about the Eagles' chances, but I think it's going to be a little bit more of a sweat than a lot of us anticipated going into the season. All right, we're going to continue all the Phillies and Eagles conversations, celebrating you, the Philadelphia sports fan. We have the Vault coming up at 11 o'clock, and I have some numbers for the Phillies-Braves series that I would love to give to you. It's really the season numbers or since this date numbers for the Phillies and Braves that just kind of remind you the Braves aren't as scary as a lot of people will make you think that they are. All right? 610-632-0975. Andrew Salchunas. This is 97.5 The Fanatic. Snapping action this NFL season with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get on all the action. Just visit FanDuel.com/Fanatic. The app's super easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. Use the $5, put together an SGP, and hopefully you win some big money. If you don't, you got the $200 in bonus bets anyways. Or you could do the anytime touchdown parlay across the league. One guy I think is a stone-cold lock to score a touchdown this week is Jamar Chase. After his comments, the last game, they lose. He says, I'm always open. He's obviously upset. Maybe him and Burrow have a nice conversation during the week, and that sets up a touchdown pass from Burrow to Jamar Chase on Sunday. Visit FanDuel.com/Fanatic and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. You got to be 21 plus, President PA, first online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Fanatic Sports Update.
A busy weekend in Philadelphia sports. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. The Phillies and Braves begin the NLDS on Saturday. Saturday night in Atlanta is game 1 at 6:07. It's a rematch of last season's NLDS, where I don't have to remind you. You remember. The Phillies won that one in 4 games. The Braves certainly remember that. Braves going to pitch Spencer Strider. With the Phillies still yet to name a starter for game 1, many imagine it will be Ranger Suarez. The series has an off day on Sunday before game 2 in Atlanta on Monday at 6:07. Zach Wheeler gets the ball for the Phillies in that one. Eagles traveling west to take on the Rams this weekend. Eagles 4-0 for the 7th time in franchise history. In terms of the injury report, of course, Cam Jurgens going to miss a couple of weeks with a foot sprain. No Fletcher Cox due to back discomfort. Britton Covey returned to practice as he tries to get cleared from concussion protocol. And in the Sixers world, James Harden showed up to Sixers camp as camp is getting wrapped up this week out in Colorado State. We'll keep you updated with that situation. Keep it locked here for all the latest news and information. I'm Ray Dunn for 97.5 The Fanatic.
New and fresh. Phillies Sports Tonight. Weeknight 6 to 10. Coming soon to 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up.
Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right, but many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Home improvement doesn't have to be scary when you let the Preferred Pros handle your projects. Whether you need help with drafty windows or you need to clean out the clutter, the Preferred Pros will help you transform your life and home. If you're tired of tricks and contractors ghosting you, reach out to a Preferred Pro. Whether your project is big or small, you'll be in for a treat.
Volpe Enterprises. It's time to make your windows remarkable and affordable. Call Volpe Enterprises. 1-855-GO-VOLPE.
An organized home is a happy home. Enjoy unmatched quality and a lifetime warranty on closets, pantries, offices, and more from the Closet Works, Inc. ClosetWorksInc.com.
Great Railing offers the highest quality vinyl decking, fencing, and railing at discount prices on the Black Horse Pike in Williamstown or online at greatrailing.com.
Check out Preferred Pros today. This paid program is sponsored by businesses highly rated by actual customers. For more details on Preferred Pros, visit 975thefanatic.com.
The Golf Zone gets it. You want to work on your game and make time for the family. Now you can do both at the Golf Zone in Chester County. With a driving range powered by top tracer technology, you can practice with purpose. Stop hitting into nets or screens. At Golf Zone, you get to watch the ball fly. Featuring a 400-plus yard range, real balls, target greens, putting green, and practice bunkers. Have fun with the family at the best mini golf course in the area. Have a blast go-kart racing. There's fun for the whole family. Go to golfzoneproshop.com and start practicing with purpose today.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Bring smiles to all when shopping online with Dell Technologies Gift Guide. Whether it's for the artist, the entrepreneur, the student, or the streamer, you'll find the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Dell.com/gift guide makes gifting easy with a carefully curated selection of our best tech. Shop now to explore our innovative PCs like the XPS 13 laptop, powered by the latest Intel Core processors, plus this season's top accessories. Visit Dell.com/gift guide today to get a jump on your holiday gift list. That's Dell.com/gift guide.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Picture a swimmer backstroking through a pool of lime jelly. Now picture yourself getting the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro. Now picture a lion and antelope hugging. Now picture yourself switching to Boost Infinite and getting the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Now picture that swimmer again, but this time it's you, and the pool is full of iPhones and baby ducks. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. Switch today. Just dial #250 and say Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from the station's network.
This week at Macy's, find your signature fall look with big savings on incredible specials. Like 30 to 50% off cool weather coats for him and her. 40 to 60% off designer suits and blazers he can dress up or down. And 30 to 40% off the season's must-have boots and shoes during the Great Shoe Sale. Or use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 20% off more great deals at Macy's. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
This is David Keller from David Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. And you know I love Philly sports, but when I'm not at a game, I take care of my clients. Sometimes, it seems harder than ever to buy a car right now. And then when you do, you go into service, and it's awful, right? Well, I can fix all that. I mean, forget about the old way you bought a car. I'll get you the car you need, the terms you need, and then I'll take care of you right up until you buy your next car. Because I love my clients, and I love our Philly sports teams. And that's why I've always been your dealer. You just didn't know it.
Nothing brings families together like a world-famous tomato pie from Corpalese Bakery and Deli. 4 generations of pride go into everything on the Corpalese menu, including hand-carved deli meats and cheeses, freshly baked breads, rolls, cookies and pies, hoagies and party trays, specialty cakes and stromboli. Go back to a better time at Corpalese Bakery and Deli in Norristown, Audubon, and Limerick. Want to join the Corpalese family? Apply today at corpalesebakery.com.
WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5, The Fanatic.
This isn't the same without my man, Jamie Lynch. Oh, some of his finest work. Just singing over this bed coming out of break. It's 10:53, 97.5 The Fanatic. I'm Andrew Salchunas. We got the Vault coming up in 7 minutes, 11 o'clock with Ray Dunn. We have some NFL news, nothing major. We've kind of been waiting for this. Chase Claypool has officially been traded from the Chicago Bears to the Miami Dolphins. So Claypool, who was a good receiver his rookie year at the Steelers. Remember, he scored, 4 touchdowns against the Eagles? That was when the White Snake, what the hell was that loser, terrible linebacker's name or safety's name? I forget. Huh? No. It was No, not Singleton. No, White Snake. I used to play the drop because they asked him what his nickname was, and he White Snake, and then I'd play the song. Here I go again on my own. I forget what the hell his name is. He sucked. But Chase Claypool scored 3 touchdowns against him, because he was lined up in the slot. For some reason, they had him, one-on-one with Claypool. But Claypool is an absolute mess. But he does go to the Dolphins now with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Maybe he doesn't have to really do all that much. The weirdest thing was that the Bears traded for him last year. I remember when the news happened, Bears trading for Chase Claypool, giving up a second-round pick. I was like, wait, what? The Bears are buyers? Because they weren't winning games.
Last night is the sole win that the Bears had with him as a member of their organization.
Wow, yeah, because they had a 14-game losing streak.
Correct. Their losing streak extended all the way back to last October that they just broke last night. He was traded on November 1st.
Oh, jeez.
So the guy experienced one win, and he experienced that win at home.
At home, yeah, because they told him to stay home. So he goes to the Dolphins. Still can't believe the Bears actually traded for him, a second-round pick. But he goes to the Dolphins for nothing. By the way, it was Nate Gehry was that linebacker.
There you go. Thanks,
he went by did B Gun say
He just sent that to us. I didn't know if that's where you got it from.
I Googled, but B Gun's on top of it as always.
Tried to forget that guy.
I can't. Yeah, he was awful. But yeah, Chase Claypool, unbelievable. All right, so some numbers for the Phillies and Braves. So Bob Wankel does a tremendous job. He covers the Phillies, has a newsletter that he puts out there, and he put together a newsletter for the Phillies Braves NLDS about the big bad Braves. And here's some numbers about the Braves. Bullet point number 1, the Braves are the first team in MLB history to finish the season with a slugging percentage of over 500. That's pretty damn good. And as he says,
impressive.
Not this season or decade, ever. 5 Braves hitters finished the season with slugging percentage over 500. Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, Marcell Ozuna, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies. Obviously very good. Comparatively, the Phillies didn't have a single player slug at least 500. Bryce Harper, the closest, 499. Castellanos, 476. Schwarber, 474. Braves led the major leagues in homers with 307, which ties the 2019 Twins for the single season record. For the first time in franchise history, 6 Phillies slugged at least 20 home runs. That's awesome, but the Braves had 7 players do it, 5 of which hit at least 33 home runs. The Braves finished the regular season first in batting average, on base percentage, slugging, and OPS. Obviously, the Braves' offense is very, very, very good. But then Bob Wankel checks in and says, this isn't a David and Goliath story. Since August 1st, right? It's one thing if the Braves did it all season long. It's another thing if the Phillies are hot going into the playoffs. Since August 1st, the Braves led Major League Baseball with 107 team home runs. 107 team total home runs. There's one other team that had 107. The Phillies did. And they played 2 less games. He says, in fact, since August 1st, right around the time Bryce Harper regained his form and Trey Turner became, Trey Turner, the Phillies offense has run with baseball's best lineups over their final 56 games of the season. The Phillies were 6th in batting average, 6th in on-base percentage, 2nd in slugging, and 3rd in OPS. So he doesn't want it to be a David versus Goliath story because since August 1, the Phillies are all of a sudden near the top. Some other things he points out, pitching. And this is what we talked about yesterday. Look, Spencer Strider, the reason why I think the Phillies come back tied 1-1 is because I think the Phillies lose game 1 and win game 2. Spencer Strider's nasty. Then again, his numbers since May aren't all that great all of a sudden, but he's still going to be really good. But Zach Wheeler in game 2 is going up against Max Fried, who's been dealing with a blister, and Aaron Nola will be going up against Bryce Elder, and he hasn't been all that good this year. The Phillies bullpen, and this is a big one, because I pointed this out back when the Phillies dropped 3 of 4 to the Braves. When the Phillies lost at Citizens Bank Park in a 4-game series, they dropped 3 of 4. The beauty was every single game the Phillies made a comeback and attacked the bullpen. And then the final series between the two teams took place at Truist Park, and the Phillies won that series, and I thought that was a statement series win. Since July 1st, the Phillies have a bullpen ERA of 3.08. The Braves, 4.08, a whole point higher, a whole run higher. The Phillies have the 3rd best WAR bullpen since July 1st of 3.6. That's double, more than double, the Braves, which is 11th at 1.4. You can get to this Braves bullpen. The starting pitching for the Phillies will be massive in this series. If you can keep the Braves through 6 innings and it's, you're up or you're just trailing by a run or 2, you can attack this Braves bullpen. This Braves bullpen, it's not like, oh, man, you got to get to the starter early or there's no shot. This Braves bullpen is not dangerous. They're dangerous to themselves. So the Phillies have every shot to win this series. So I just wanted to give you some of those positive numbers for the Phillies that really work in their favor because we have seen this team time and time again have late life in ball games. They could look like they have no clue at what they're doing at the plate for 6 innings, and then all of a sudden they finish the game with 5 or 6 runs. You can attack this Braves bullpen. I'm very confident going into this series. It's 11 o'clock. Time now for the Vault.
When we began opening this vault nearly 2 hours ago, we had no real idea what we'd find inside. As it turns out, we haven't found very much.
Vault presented by Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. Ray, good morning. What do we got today?
Good morning. All right. Today we got a birthday and then a pair of anniversaries. Now, the birthday is someone that's getting a lot of shine, and deservedly so, because he had a grand slam the other night. And it's Bryson Stott's birthday. So I put together a couple of the best moments. We'll get to the grand slam. But we got a pair of walk-offs I want to pay a little bit of tribute to. No one, I think, can forget the walk-off against the Angels because it just felt like that watershed-type moment. But I want y'all to live it back anyways.
Well, this is a situation right here where if it's a strike, you just got to put it in play and hope for the best.
That is a good point, John. Letters go. 3-2 is hit in the air to right field. It's got beautifully. It is over! 3-run home run for Bryson Stott. The prayers have been answered. The Phillies have won it here in the bottom of the 9th inning. They win it 9-7. The Vegas connection has tied it and won it.
I love that call by T-Mac. The Vegas connection. Harper obviously tied the game with the home run, and then Bryson Stott, the walk-off 3-run home run. And that moment where they showed the kid, he was right behind the first base dugout, like praying, and Stott hits the home run. And then the cool thing was Stott actually got him tickets to the next home game. I don't know if it was the very next day or the next home series. Stott got the kid and his family tickets, which I thought was really cool. But that was the beginning, man. That was that. I said last year the Garrett Stubbs, will that be played? that going to be played? The Garrett Stubbs walk-off?
No.
Okay. The Garrett Stubbs walk-off against the Marlins last year was the Jake Elliott 61-yarder against the Giants back in 2017. But that was such a big moment because, remember, they came out and scored 10 runs the first game. Then they win game 2, and then you're like, oh, man, you could sweep the Angels, and then they're losing. And, man, that home run, that could also be one of those moments where you go, that's a moment when the Phillies began that run after the firing of Joe Girardi.
And it's cool to see how far stats come from that point where they're talking about, just put it in play. And, the Vegas connection is kind of like, this is Bryce's guy. Right. Bryson Stott now kind of stands alone in his own space with this team instead of just being, the young kid we hope turns into something.
Yeah, and I remember game 1 of the wild card round, you were able to actually hear the broadcast for this one. They mentioned his batting average on four-seam fastballs last year was below 200 and how he worked on that all offseason. And now it's around a 300 clip. That home run was a fastball that he hits the grand slam off of. And so just seeing him continue to grow and be that player that a lot of us were really excited for is pretty damn sweet. And especially when he's a kid from the farm system. I know how much we love that around here.
Love the homegrown talent. We also love walk-offs. Let's get you another one from earlier this season, April 8th, against the Reds.
So now 2-2 to Stott. The infielders.
We haven't had a walk-off this year.
No, they're back. The outfielders are shortened up. And the 3-2 pitch. Ground ball inside. That'll leak into right field. Base hit. Marshall's around third. Heading home. Myers bobbles it. The Phils will win it. They come from behind. Down 2-0 here in the ninth. They score 3 runs and walk it off. A 3-2 final score on the RBI single by Bryson Stott.
Yeah, that's great. Stott's a big game player, man. We always talk about like Ranger Suarez, how like a moment's not too big for him. On the offense, now you have a lot of guys like that. Like Bryce Harper's obviously like a god when it comes to big clutch moments. But Bryson Stott, man, it doesn't seem like a moment's too big for him.
Now I'm going to try something here. And we may never do this again in the vault, and we may just scrap it. It may go horribly, but we're going to try something here. I know this video made its way around social media about the sound of the ballpark when he hit the grand slam without the announcers. I want to do you watch MLB TV? They do the baseball zen. I'm going to give you a little baseball zen here with the sound of the grand slam.
I did love this.
With the cool. A-OK into because it perfectly lines up with the first pitch, letting it happen. So here's how it sounded in the ballpark with the grand slam. Forget the announcers.
Best walk-up song ever. Better than Cashmere. That's awesome. And it was like right after the song's done, too. It's still trailing off. And first pitch, bam! Out to right center field. Awesome. Yeah, that was really cool. I really love that video, seeing that on Twitter.
Yeah, so we'll see. The people, it's not a visual thing. We'll see. I thought baseball zen there for us is a nice way to live.
I like a baseball zen.
Yeah, have a nice moment there. All right, moving away from Bryson Stott, happy birthday to you. We have an anniversary today from 1993, and it kind of has to do with baseball because today is the day in which Michael Jordan let the world know, I am done with basketball. Big lie, but he was done with basketball in that moment. Here is the press conference that the Bulls had. You get Jerry Reinsdorf, and then you get a little bit of the explanation from MJ.
So we respect the decision. We're sorry to leave him, to see Michael leave, but it's really been an honor and a pleasure for me and for the people of Chicago to have had Michael here for 9 years. I can only imagine what it was like seeing Babe Ruth, because I think this man, I used to say, was the Babe Ruth of basketball. I've now come to believe that Babe Ruth was the Michael Jordan of baseball. Michael?
Thanks, Jerry. I think everyone knows exactly what the circumstances are right now in terms of my decision not to play the game of basketball in the NBA. Doesn't mean I'm not going to play basketball somewhere else, but I've talked to all my confidants, my family, my friends, as Jerry has just informed you, to the organization. I even talked to David Stern as of yesterday and even today, and I'm very solid with my decision of not to play the game of basketball in the NBA. The reason speculations about my reasons for not playing, but I've always stressed to people that have known me and the media that has followed me that when I lose the sense of motivation and the sense of to prove something as a basketball player, it's time for me to move away from the game of basketball.
I would love to believe that. I would love to just believe that. But there's had to have been something. Like, you're not just the best player in the NBA. Like, imagine if LeBron did that. I know we do MJ and LeBron debates all the time, but if LeBron just 6 years ago was like, I'm done, we'd freak out. And we'd try to figure out what the reason why. And it had nothing to do with just my lack of competitive energy is gone. Like, there's something more to it, but I can only imagine what that was like. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, if Giannis just stopped playing right now and wanted to play professionally in Greece, like, we'd be like, what?
I know what you're going with here, but just the thought of that at this exact moment, if he quit right now and Dame was left all alone in Milwaukee, it would be awesome. The greatest thing in the world.
I would love it. No, I would celebrate it. I might like reach out to Greek Freak, just be like, yo, Giannis, do me a favor, just bail for 1 year. Make Damian Lillard. He doesn't want to run from the grind, so make him grind in Milwaukee now.
He's so great. Just the way he said, I can only imagine speculating on it back then of like the number of times he says basketball but not in the NBA. Like, what? All right, man, are you going to play pickup? Like, I don't understand.
Well, I could have played overseas.
Right, but that's the thing. We would sit there because he says it twice in a minute-long piece. I know the way I react to things, the way I listen to things. Had I been listening to it in the lens of 1993, I would be sitting back here like, oh, where's he going? Why is it? What's wrong with the NBA? Why does he want to play in the NBA?
He wanted to play in the Big Three, Ice Cube's
That's
league.
right.
Yeah,
that's right.
He wanted to take his talents to the Big Three.
Let me give you another anniversary here today. The anniversary, Roy Halladay. No-hitter in the postseason on this day in 2010. Here is the final pitch.
Halladay is one strike away. The 0-2. A bouncer. Ruiz. In time! Roy Halladay has thrown a no-hitter.
I still can't believe that moment. And I know what happened to the Phillies last year. Not that I'm sorry for even bringing it up, but I can't believe that moment happened. And just he was ours. Like, Roy Halladay was ours when that happened, which is pretty freaking awesome. Trivia question: who was the lone man that got on base?
Phillips?
Nope. Former Philly great.
Former Philly great from that Reds team. All right.
How about that Jay Bruce?
Oh, that's a massive miss by me.
Jay Bruce
I'm gonna think about that all day
in that
long
game. And then, of course, later came to the Phillies and had pop, but he had oblique injuries all the time, and he couldn't stay on the field. But yeah, Jay Bruce was the lone man that got on base via walk against Roy Halladay in that game. And I think it was in the first or second.
Yeah, it was early on.
Yeah.
There's one person that tweets me every time I do the Ring It thing, taking Jay Bruce today. It's one of my favorite bits on Twitter with me. I have one batter from that lineup talking about that day.
Okay.
I have Joey Votto. It's one of my favorite stories. Votto tried to get in Halladay's head because he knew how stupidly locked in he was at that moment. And this becomes one of the all-time Roy Halladay conversations later on.
What I was thinking before that at bat, I need to throw him off in such a way that maybe he gets rattled and hits me. So I get in the box, and as Roy gets on the mound, I call timeout. I take a pitch or two, and I say, I'm going to call timeout again. I ended up making it out that at bat. And next year at the All-Star game, they said, hey, remember when you called timeout twice during that at bat? I wanted to kill you. If I could have, I would have walked to home plate and choked you to death.
I love that. I love when athletes don't forget that kind of stuff. And I wonder how many stories we haven't heard, right? Of I don't forget what you did there. And that's something, so that's a baseball play, right? When the pitcher's locked in, you call time, you throw them off, you do the last minute or last second calling of time. That's an old school baseball thing. But for Roy Halladay to remember that and then approach him the next year at the All-Star game to bring it up, that's pretty freaking awesome. And I wish we heard more stories like that. They're great. Great job, Ray. It's the Vault presented by Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. Coming up next, I want to replay the call that we had earlier today. I had a caller named Steve. And I'll explain what the premise of the show was, opening the show up at 10 o'clock, about celebrating the Eagles, celebrating the Phillies, as the Phillies are going into the NLDS. The Eagles are going to hopefully become 5-0, beating the Rams on Sunday. But I also want to celebrate you guys because it has been such a great week, and we're once again on the map in front of the entire sports world with how you guys have been at Citizens Bank Park. But I had a caller, Steve, that said it even better than what I said to start the show. And I'll play that next, and I want to talk more about it right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Busy weekend in Philly sports. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by the BetParks app. When you open the BetParks app, you're in the zone. It's all your favorite casino games at your fingertips. Plus,
My head up in outer space. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. When I see trouble come my way, I'll be making lemonade.
It's 11:20, 97.5 The Fanatic. I'm Andrew Salchunas, 11 o'clock hour, brought to us by Gold Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. Football Friday on The Fanatic, presented by Pumpman Philly for 24/7 emergency repair and pump replacement. Count on Pumpman Philly, the guys to know to fix your flow. So it is a Football Friday. Phils are about to get set to take on the Braves in the NLDS. And here's what I want to do today. If you're just tuning in, right, we've been busy. We opened the show. Then Nick Sirianni had his Friday press conference. Then we got into some numbers about the Phillies and the Braves. And then we did the vault. And so now we're back, right? And as of right now, no guests scheduled for the rest of the show. There is a chance we will have Kevin Burkhardt on around 12 o'clock. I will try to answer that text at some point because Kevin Burkhardt will be on the call, Eagles-Rams this Sunday. He's also a Philadelphia native. And remember, he's done baseball stuff in the past for Fox. I know Joe Davis was the big guy last year for Fox, but Kevin Burkhardt has done stuff for Fox back in the day for baseball. He was doing studio analysis last year during the playoff run, so we'd love to get his thoughts on the Phillies as well. So we'll probably hear from Kevin Burkhardt. But other than Kevin, and our pick segment at 1:30, it's a chance for you to call in and celebrate you. And celebrate the Eagles, and celebrate the Phillies. My message to start the show was we have gone through so much crap. We've been kicked in the teeth. Our teams haven't necessarily been all that successful. But we are still so proud to be Philadelphia sports fans. And things are good right now. And I want to cherish that. Instead of pointing out the flaws, like, oh, my God, I love my man Sugar Bear. I bring him up a lot. Sugar Bear says the only person that can ruin all this is Rob Thompson. You know what? I don't even want you to bring that up today. Just talk about the good of the Phillies. The amount of people that have called in, but the Braves bats are so good. So are the Phillies. Celebrate that today. We complain about the bullpen. Celebrate Jose Alvarado. Celebrate Hoffman. Celebrate, everybody that's coming out of the pen and has done damage. Celebrate Kirkering. I don't care. Talk about him being the opener for one of the games. Whatever, even though I hate that idea, but that's okay. I want to celebrate the good of the Phillies today because we are so good at nitpicking, and that's because we are so invested financially and with our time. So we live these teams day in, day out that we see the flaws, right? Like, if you're a fan of the Broncos right now, you see the Eagles are 4-0, you're probably like, oh, wow, man. I wish I was an Eagles fan. They were just in the Super Bowl last year, and now they're 4-0. But because we live it day in and day out, we see what has gone wrong for the Eagles. But ultimately, they're 4-0. So I want to celebrate what's gone right for the Eagles. I want to celebrate that Jalen Hurts showed that he is back to his self from last year in this past game against the Commanders. I want to celebrate the good of the Eagles. But mainly, I want to celebrate you today because we are going through another joyous time in Philadelphia sports, and the beauty of what is going on is that the national media, fans outside of Philadelphia, are starting to recognize, holy hell, I forgot how passionate these fans are. It is now being talked about on talk shows outside of Philly. It's being talked about on podcasts. I know Barstool started talking about it. People wish they were us. People wish that they could be a part of the party that is at Citizens Bank Park for home games, or at Xfinity Live for home and road games. Like, people wish they were a part of it. People are missing out on what it's like to be a Philadelphia sports fan. That's why there's 3 for 4 fans in the area. I don't get it. You could be a part of the fun for all 4 teams. And yet, for some reason, you stray and you become a fan of the Cowboys, or you become a fan of another baseball team, and it just doesn't, you miss out on the party. And that must suck for you. I don't feel bad because you're misguided, but, it must suck. So I love that people feel this way about Philadelphia sports. Now, enough of me saying it. I had a caller, Steve, earlier in the show, and then I'll get to all your calls at 610-632-0975. Steve just said it perfectly. I try to be as artistic with my words as possible to start the show before I just start blabbering the rest of the day and yelling and screaming in the microphone. But Steve called in, and I said to Ray, please get this call, because I wanted to replay it again once we got past the vault, once we got past Nick Sirianni, when I wanted to reset the show. Because Steve painted it perfectly. This is what he had to say.
So I'm walking around here, and on cloud nine, like it's Christmas morning. And I think, like you said about celebrating the Philadelphia fans, I'm 40 years old, and I think, we've suffered a ton of misery, horrible Phillies teams, horrible Eagles teams, the Flyers, even the Sixers. And, we always had the negative spotlight on us about how crude we were, rude we were, and we were so sick and tired of it. And I think what upset us the most is that what people didn't understand across the country was it's just different here. It's a way of life. It's not just sports and entertainment. We live and die with our team. When the Eagles lose on Sunday, people are pissed off at work on Monday. And I think finally, the spotlight has been shown that we are a damn good fan base. We are deserving of being celebrated, and we're deserving of having winning teams in our city. Growing up, my dad, I can only thank him. He's no longer with us, but he instilled in me, what it was to be a Philadelphia sports fan. And I'm passing the torch to my kids. And, last year I had a 7-year-old and a 13-year-old, and they were in, but they weren't in, with every pitch and every inning and every game. And I was trying to get them in, because I don't think what they don't understand, because they've seen a lot of winning lately, is that, winning's not easy. And this may be the last time, hopefully not, but, it's not like we're in the playoffs every year.
Right.
It's not like we're winning championships every year. So you really have to soak it up and embrace it, because as we know in this city, we don't know when the next championship's going to be, and it's just an amazing thing to be a part of. And I wear my Phillies hats, my Eagles hats with pride when I go into other cities, other states, because I'm damn proud to be a Philadelphia sports fan. And it just hits different here. And
it does hit different here. And I love that. That call by Steven, there was like a whole other minute of it. We just cut it down a little bit. But, I mean, that call was tremendous. If we kept on playing, he told a story about a conversation he had with his wife that we're finally getting paid right now with the Phillies in the playoffs, because we sit through a game in April where they lose 10-1, and you're sitting there going, what the hell's going on with this team? And then you make it to October, and all that is gone. And now you're just here pitch by pitch and celebrating it and really appreciating the fact that they're in the playoffs. We don't get it that much. So I love that we appreciate as much as we do by showing up and showing out and being the second storyline. Right? The storyline from the wild card round, just like the storyline was from the NLDS last year and the NLCS and the World Series. Game was storyline number 1. Phillies fans was storyline number 2. And not in a way where it was, wow, crazy Phillies fans get in fight. Crazy Phillies fans eat horse manure at the Eagles Super Bowl parade. No. The storyline is the passion of Philadelphia sports fans and the passion that we show and the pride that we have with these teams and the noise that we make. There was one manager, they didn't say who. I'm guessing it was Brian Snicker, because he's kind of talked about it since then. But there was a manager last year that said playing in Citizens Bank Park was 4 hours of hell. Take joy in that. Take pride in that, because that's you. That's you doing that. The 46,000 strong there at Citizens Bank Park. So I also want to celebrate and appreciate you today, the Philadelphia sports fan. So talk about what it's like to be a Philadelphia sports fan, especially right now when things are going good. And I want to celebrate the good as well. It's 610-632-0975. Let's go to Jerry in Costa Rica. Jerry, what's going on, man?
Good morning, Andrew. Hey, Ray.
What's going on,
guys? So Mike told me that the Phillies hadn't named a starter yet for tomorrow, but I want to chime in on the appreciation thing. You're right. That caller Steve was great, and it's a great segue because I'm kind of a typical Philly fan, and for the first 59 years of my life, I could go anywhere and talk to anybody about Philly sports. The last few years, I was traveling for work, so I'd go up to New England and talk to Patriots fans and New York fans, and it was awesome. So fast forward to now in the last 6.5 weeks, and look, I love it down here.
I know you do.
There's nobody to talk to sports about. I watch a game at a bar, and I start going nuts. Nobody even looks up to see what I'm ranting about. It's such a different culture, and my appreciation and my love is more than ever for the Fanatic, because I can put you guys on YouTube. I can listen to Tyrone in the afternoon, and it just kind of helps me still feel a part of it because I'm watching every game.
Oh, I know you are. And what's it like? Like, what's it like being at home? Now, I know being at home, how beautiful it is watching, the fans at Citizens Bank Park. But I'm here, right? I'm not far away. What's it like for you being able to capture that moment, seeing those moments of Citizens Bank Park from Costa Rica?
I got to tell you, you had a caller, I think it was yesterday, and I don't know if he was trolling you or what. He said something about that it was calm.
Oh, yeah, no, I think he was. I think he was on crack.
Well, he needs to find a new dealer because that stuff. Anyway, it's through the TV. I could tell. I could see that the commentators were talking about it. I will say, let me jump on the starting pitching thing because I think my time's running down here. Rob Thompson will never do this, but obviously Wheeler and Nola are our best two pitchers. But I think Christopher Sanchez, I know he's never going to get the start, but he's been so
look, I wouldn't
all
say
year long.
Never. It's just not yet because it's a 3-game series and then a 5-game series. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Phillies get past the Braves, and thanks for the call, Jerry. If the Phillies get past the Braves, you're going to need more than a 3-man rotation in the 7-game series. You will. Remember, we saw it last year. It was, let's see, so Game 3 starter was Nola. Who started Game 4 for the Phils? Was that Syndergaard against the Braves? Because Ranger came in relief. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I wasn't. I'm trying to, my mind is going elsewhere. But come NLCS 7-game series, you need a 4th starter. And you saw NLCS, you saw Falter actually get the start and get completely crushed. It was Syndergaard. Thank you. So Syndergaard actually went Game 4 for the Phillies against the Braves. Falter pitched at one point in the series against the Padres, and then Syndergaard went back out there in the World Series. So don't be surprised if Sanchez gets the start. Now, the question will be Sanchez or Walker. I'm going to guess not Lorenzen if he didn't make the wild card roster. He's going to be on the DS and CS rosters because you're going to need more arms because it's not just a 3-game series. But I would imagine it comes down to Walker or Sanchez. Maybe they piggyback each other. Maybe Walker goes 3, followed by Sanchez, or vice versa. But I wouldn't count that out. And Rob Thompson, I remember like a month and a half ago, said that the rotation was going to be Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, Walker. And then a month went by. And then all of a sudden the tone has changed, especially about Christopher Sanchez, where he says, yeah, we hope to get him an opportunity. So I wouldn't count that out, Ray.
I wouldn't count it out. I do think it's hard-pressed for me to imagine the world where he doesn't give the ball first to Walker.
Yeah, he might be the piggyback guy.
Right. I think it probably would be see Sanchez later on because you think about the way it went last season. Syndergaard being the vet got the opportunity, and then we saw Falter eventually get his opportunity. Now, not to compare the two situations in terms of talent, but I think just the way he manages, the way he gives the ball to guys, the way all season long it was, well, I wouldn't start Aaron Nola in Game 2, but I know that's what Rob Thompson's going to do. Like, there's certain ways that he operates that I think Walker probably gets you that start when that time of the rotation comes around. But I imagine we see Sanchez at some point. Oh,
you're definitely going to see him. And it might be for not just like to get an out. It's going to be to pitch to eat up some innings. Real quick football note, Dan Campbell, head coach of the Lions, says that Amon-Ra St. Brown not practicing again due to his abdomen injury. The reason why I bring that up is obviously a lot of people have Amon-Ra on their fantasy football teams, and the Lions are favorites for this Sunday's game against the Panthers. So in case you're putting in your wager, we'll be doing our picks coming up at 1:30. And I know some of you, like myself, kept Amon-Ra in the starting lineup and did not start DJ Moore because of it. Ooh.
Yeah. That's tough, man. I'm still feeling for you on that one.
Yeah. 3 touchdowns yesterday.
Justin Fields, man.
I had him in that same team, though. So at least I still went to bed Thursday night like, all right, I got a nice sizable lead to start. But it could have been really nice if I had both Fields and DJ Moore in the starting lineup. But hey, look,
Justin Fields leads NFL touchdown pass.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw that. That's right. He's had an extra week.
No.
He's had an extra week already, but that's okay.
Not apply. Context need not apply. We're back.
Good for Justin Fields. Let's go to Uncle Frank. What's up, Uncle Frank?
Hey, happy festive Fanatic Football Friday and Red October, squad.
Absolutely, Red October.
Really, fun times, man. Listen, great content today, guys. I celebrate you guys. I celebrate me because I loves me some me, and I celebrate our fandom. And Andrew, you made a great point. You can't fake our fandom.
No.
Because it's real. It's unadulterated passion. It comes from the heart, the soul, our minds. And we are all it's beautiful. We're all like-minded. That's a beautiful thing.
And you know what's funny, Uncle Frank, when it comes to like faking it? Like, there are people that I know who might not be as invested at this point in their life as they used to be, but we still have that roots too. And so that comes out. Like, the Phillies weren't in the playoffs for 10 years. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and say there were 46,000 people in 2015 when Tommy Joseph was playing first base for the Phillies. Like, that wasn't happening. But because we had the roots of 2007 through 11, we were passionate Phillies fans. It was just buried deep inside us because there was no point to really let it all out, because why would you? Because, again, we're not fake with that. We're not going to sit here and say that Cameron Rupp is the catcher of the future. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man,
when it's real, when the teams are real, we're real too.
I love it. Great passion. Our fandom, it's synonymous with Jason Kelsey's speech at the parade.
Mm-hmm.
No one likes us. We don't care. It's us against the world mentality. It's like Anthony always preaching about the lawn, and then we catapult all Fugazi fans over the walls.
Yes.
So it's great. You're spot on. All right, boys, give it all you got this weekend.
Uncle Frankie, not just comeback caller of the year. I think MVP.
That was impressive.
He's on fire.
That was it. Like, he exits stage.
He's
like,
on fire. I'm dead serious. Uncle Frank, not just comeback caller of the year award winner. Maybe we'll start doing that on the show. That'd be fun. Not just comeback caller of the year. He might be MVP.
Okay, maybe big sample size. In terms of today's work, Steve got his call replayed.
Yes, that's true.
So I can't give Uncle Frank
that
MVP
might be rookie
today.
of the year.
Okay, that's fine.
You know what I mean? Like,
Rookie
not that Steve was a first-time caller, but like Uncle Frank calls all the time.
All right, so there's
a lot of callers that call all the time who I don't necessarily think are great callers, but I still love our conversations.
Right.
Uncle Frank called all the time. You guys know how I feel about Uncle Frank. Love the guy to death. He drove me nuts last year. But he's settling into a groove right now, man. He's June Schwarber right now. He is. Uncle Frank is June Kyle Schwarber right now. He is just on fire.
The problem is he could get too comfortable, and that'll be when we see the regression.
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen, because we got a lot of good things going on in Philadelphia sports. Like, the big thing is the June, July, August, where there's not much to talk about. Mm-hmm. He was still doing good calls during that.
Of course.
He's now, look, we got October baseball. We got an undefeated Eagles team. It's not short on content right now. So I'm very proud of Uncle Frank. He's doing a great job. Now, speaking of celebrating us, I want to play this for you, because there are these two dudes in San Francisco that we have beachfront, Bayside, secondary house for the side piece, all kinds of property in their heads right now. Like, Philadelphia is almost a daily topic at this point, that we have so much real estate in the minds of these two hosts, something and Shasky, I forget who. They pop on my feet a lot because my former program director, Matt Nahagian, is now the program director out there. So I still keep tabs with Matt. So these guys, they can't shut up. They love talking about Philadelphia sports. They can't get enough. You know why? Because they're jealous, but whatever. So they had Terrell Owens on the other day, and they asked him a question about, like, the fans that are the best or whatever, and they tried teeing it up between San Fran and Dallas. And the best part is T.O. didn't give them an answer that they wanted to hear. He didn't even say Dallas. He said a city you might like.
But what fan base shows you the most love when you're walking around? Is it the Cowboy fans or is it the 49er fans?
Honestly, I would probably say the Philly fans.
Really? Oh, don't say that, T.O. We got to beef with Philadelphia.
I'm being dead honest.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, like, Philly. There's some hardcore fans. I mean, I think when you think about the personality and just the blue collar workers that they are, I remind them of themselves. A guy that kind of would just put on that hard hat and just go to work. So I think that's where the mutual love and respect, was when I played in Philly. Again, like I said, obviously great fan bases in Dallas and San Francisco. But me, I have to be honest, man. When you talk about Philly, those fans, bro, they love me like no other.
That freaking hurt them, and I love it. These two knuckleheads in San Francisco that can't stop talking about us. They can't stop. Every show is about how terrible they are. They probably have a countdown clock somewhere in that office for week 13. I would not be surprised. They have such a huge matchup this Sunday against the Cowboys, and they still have the Philadelphia Eagles on their brains, and I freaking love it. And I love Terrell Owens for going on that radio station, being asked which fan base shows him more love, San Fran or Dallas, and he comes out there with Philly. And I'm sure their hearts sunk, those two guys, and I love it. And I want to celebrate that even more. I want to celebrate you today at 610-632-0975. Coming up next, we got your next chance to win $1,000 at 12 o'clock. And also, we are going to play you something else that has nothing to do with fandom. But I heard something this morning. Cooper did not sleep well last night, right? So it was a tough morning, slow start. And I'm trying to do some research for the show. And I saw a video from Al Michaels. And it was not from last night's game. But he said something that I was so tired, I thought I was just hearing things. I don't believe it. But if it's true, this is insane. I'll play the audio next right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Big weekend in Philly sports. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Unbound.org. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own. Unbound.org. The Phillies and Braves begin the NLDS on Saturday. Game 1 Saturday night in Atlanta at 6:07. A rematch of last season's NLDS, which the Phillies won in 4 games. The Braves will pitch Spencer Strider. Phillies still yet to name a start for Game 1. The series has an off day on Sunday before Game 2 in Atlanta on Monday. That game also at 6:07. That off day on Sunday gives you plenty of time to watch the Birds. The Birds out west to take on the Rams. Eagles 4-0 for the 7th time in franchise history. No Fletcher Cox due to back discomfort this Sunday. Britton Covey returned to practice in limited capacity as he tries to get cleared from concussion protocol. The game again 4:05 on Sunday in Los Angeles against the Rams. James Harden showed up to Sixers camp this week. Practice so far, so good in the conversation surrounding the Sixers. Training camp wraps up today out at Colorado State University. Keep it locked here for all the latest news and information. I'm Ray Dunn for 97.5 The Fanatic.
The best show ever. Opinion and conversation on Philly's hot sports topics. Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Batalico, and Jennifer Scordo. This afternoon at 2. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Hey guys, Bob Cooney here. Imagine if your favorite casino came with an undo button. Well, guess what? You get that with FanDuel Casino's Play It Again. Get up to $1,000 back if you're down after your first day. Play your favorite table games and hundreds of slots for real cash. See why FanDuel Casino's the #1 rated online casino app? I've told you so many times how much fun it is to look at their daily and their weekly promotions. And when you play with a live dealer. And should you ever have any questions, the best in-class customer support team, they are there all the time. Sign up for FanDuel Casino with FanDuel.com/Bob today and play it again with up to $1,000 back if you're down after your first day. That's FanDuel.com/Bob.
21 plus and present in PA must not have previously placed any wager on FanDuel Sportsbook, FanDuel Casino, Betfair Casino, Mohegan Sun Casino, or Stardust Casino. Refund issued as non-withdrawable casino-only site credit that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/casino. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG.
This is the lunch rush at your local deli. Orders are flying in. Online, on the phone, and in person.
Order for Nick.
So is it possible that fast internet could help your business outrun the rush? It is with Comcast Business. Up-leveling your speed with gig speed Wi-Fi, powering all your devices, and fast downloads and uploads, powered by the next generation 10G network. With Comcast Business, next level speed isn't just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with fast speeds and advanced security for $39 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Plus, ask how to get up to a $600 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call or go online to learn more. Ends 11/12/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments. New 50 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Gig Wi-Fi requires gig internet and compatible router.
Birds fans, it's Andrew Salchunas. This Sunday, Bob Cooney, Pat Egan, and I are bringing the Fanatic's Birds pregame show to Vinyl, 215 South 15th Street in Philly. Vinyl is Philadelphia's newest destination for live music and entertainment. Vinyl has an amazing Sunday brunch, food and drink specials, and a 140-inch TV for the game. You heard that right, 140-inch TV for the game. And as I said, the Fanatic Birds pregame show live this Sunday from 1 to 4. Join us at Vinyl, 215 South 15th Street in Philadelphia, and get ready for the game.
Vinyl is your newest destination for live music, entertainment, and nightlife in the heart of Philadelphia. Located in Center City, Vinyl pays tribute to the days when Philly was the epicenter of the nation's music industry, with live performances in an intimate setting. Enjoy a modern take on classic cocktails and light bites, because no matter where you sit, VIP, front row lounge, or cozy cocktail tables, every note comes to life at Vinyl. Visit vinylphilly.com for show schedule.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
Picture a swimmer backstroking through a pool of lime jelly. Now picture yourself getting the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro. Now picture a lion and antelope hugging. Now picture yourself switching to Boost Infinite and getting the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Now picture that swimmer again, but this time it's you, and the pool is full of iPhones and baby ducks. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. Switch today. Just dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from the station's network.
Bring smiles to all when shopping online with Dell Technologies Gift Guide. Whether it's for the artist, the entrepreneur, the student, or the streamer, you'll find the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Dell.com/gift guide makes gifting easy with a carefully curated selection of our best tech. Shop now to explore our innovative PCs like the XPS 13 laptop, powered by the latest Intel Core processors, plus this season's top accessories. Visit Dell.com/gift guide today to get a jump on your holiday gift list. That's Dell.com/gift guide.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistent scent, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Fall is the in-between season. In between summer and winter. In between flip-flops and puffy parkas. And in between soaring heat and frigid cold. Which makes it the perfect season to upgrade your comfort with special financing offers and rebates on a new high-efficiency heating and cooling system from Trane. Including a whole-house air filtration system to keep the air you breathe clean and safe. Visit Trane.com to find an independent Delaware Valley Trane comfort specialist near you. It's hard to stop a Trane. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for details.
WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5, The Fanatic.
Is this fan of the opera? There it is. 11:50, 97.5 The Fanatic. I was going to say, I was waiting for the beats to drop, but I didn't know if it ever was. What do we got here, Ray?
This is Control by Kendrick Lamar.
Okay, thank you.
This is more my speed. I think B Gunn, while he was sitting back here during First Friday, decided to go in and get a little creative with the music choice.
I love it. I like a little mix-up.
Well, I like Kendrick Lamar. I like Control, so I left this one in for you.
Okay, that sounds good. Look, I'm down to new things. Like my man Ryan Field checked in because the one song I didn't realize it was a Mac Miller song. And he said, I've been a Tunis guy since the day I found the station 7 years ago, but not knowing Mac Miller, don't mind if I do, is an unforgivable offense. To which I responded, if you've been listening for 7 years, you know I know nothing other than sports in Lithuania. Like, that's all I know. And I do know who Mac Miller is. I know who Kendrick Lamar is. I like both of their work. I like both of theirs works. Pat's walking by.
Yeah, you really sold that good right there.
I do. Dude, I am I don't have, Zach Brown Band's my favorite band. I don't have like a favorite genre of music. Everyone says I'm the country music guy because I like country music. But it's just because I like country music doesn't mean that's my favorite style of music. Because not many people here like country music. So they go, the country music guy. I like it all, but sometimes I don't know beats. Sometimes I don't know the names of artists. Like the 10-second song, Best Show Ever does on Wednesdays. I'm terrible at that. I don't know titles. I don't know people. I don't know anything. I just know that Goodrich could be your slot corner this weekend, or Bradley Roby. Like that's the stuff I know. So I'm sorry.
It's a good thing to know when you work here.
Yeah, I don't really expand, what I care to research. Shame on me. I should probably know more about life, but I'm all right. I'm good. I also know that your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 12 o'clock when we give you the key word. All right, so Ray, this morning I heard some audio from Al Michaels. Al Michaels, of course, a legend, play-by-play guy. I lost some respect for him back in 2017, Super Bowl 52, when he clearly had the Patriots, and it was very disappointing. And he's been a little bit better on Thursday night this year, but not great. Better than last year, but still not great. It's getting sad because sometimes these legends, they hang around too long and then they become like memes, and it's a shame, right? But that's what they know. That's their life. It's the same thing with an athlete. Like Jason Peters, hang it up, dude. Like, please, I'm begging you. Stop playing football. So Al Michaels, you said this was CNN?
CNN.
So this is how delirious I was this morning. Like I was so tired this morning that I didn't even know where it came from. But Al Michaels did an interview with CNN, and somehow they got into the conversation about vegetables. And take a listen, as Al Michaels says, he's never had one.
Is it true that you have never knowingly eaten a vegetable in your life?
That is true.
That is true.
I was born when my parents were 18, and my mother hadn't even read Dr. Spock at that point. So she just let me have the run of the course. And I always pushed the vegetables away. To this day, no. And I guess what I've proven, Chris, is that man does not need vegetables to survive.
But is it just possible that you would like, I'm thinking of one of the more non-objectionable vegetables, a carrot?
Oh, please. Please.
A carrot?
No, I can't. No, that's an objectionable vegetable.
I mean, really? What? I mean, how would you know? You've never tasted it.
I look at it. I just don't even like the look of it. And I surmise what it might taste like in terms of the texture of it. I think a lot of it probably has to do, it just doesn't look like something that would go down well. Now, you put a big steak in front of me, and I'm going, let's go.
Is that it? That's Al.
That's the way that ends.
All right. Now, what I should have done, and my apologies, is I should have said, if you have a kid in your car, turn off the radio. Because there's probably a kid in the car going, wait, you mean I don't need to eat broccoli? Because Al Michaels claims he's never had a vegetable in his life. I call bogus. Like, there's no way. And Michelle Tafoya actually quote tweeted the interview and said, except for the time Chris Collinsworth and I got him to eat roasted Brussels sprouts in Baltimore. Or a roasted Brussels sprout. So maybe he didn't even realize what he was eating and then he spit it out or something. But that's insane. He's making the case. He's claiming that he has never had a vegetable knowingly in his life. And then he also says that you don't need vegetables because he's, getting up there in age and he's still doing fine. You need veggies, man. Eat the veg.
It's a lie.
I don't buy it at all.
World. It's such a lie. That's
Well, how do you come up with that lie?
Full-face lie. Probably because he doesn't like them. He doesn't eat them now. This doesn't mean he also probably doesn't even know what this is going to come off. I respect the guy. Very accomplished. I question whether or not he actually knows his food groups. Because I really, really believe that at some point along the line, he's had something unwittingly knowing, like, it's a vegetable. He ate it. He has no idea it is a vegetable. But it was good enough where it went by. Like, and also, is this vegetable products? Is it nothing that comes from a vegetable?
No tomato juice?
Right.
Well, it's a fruit technically.
Yeah,
but,
it's fine. That's exactly it. Like, there's sometimes you sit down, you eat, you have something. That was pretty good. Well, what are we doing here? There's no way a man that has lived his life, that has had the number of catered food events.
Oh, he has dined in probably the nicest restaurants all across the country.
And whenever he shows up to a stadium, there is something there prepared for him, I am sure. There is no way.
And what steakhouse doesn't have a side of vegetables?
Correct. Exactly. Well, take the steak. You're taking the steak alone by itself, man?
Oh, asparagus.
I understand. I'm like the young voice here who's supposed to be naive about the world. Even I know what goes with the steak at the steakhouse. Come on. What are we doing here with this? Oh, I've never had a vegetable before. This is the dumbest take.
It's not a take.
I mean, it's the dumbest idea, like principle to live your life by. I'm never going to have a vegetable. What has he proven? He has proven nothing. He has proven that if you get into the broadcast world, you get to yourself to the highest level, you get served whatever food you want. We all knew that already. What are we going with you've proven nothing, Al. You have proven nothing. The only miracle now in your life is that you're still kicking so well without having done any vegetables. That is the miracle of his life right now. I don't buy it for a second at all. This is bogus.
Now, I want to have some fun with this. Real quick, Football Friday on the Fanatic presented by Pumpman Philly for 24/7 emergency repair and pump replacement. Count on Pumpman Philly. The guys know to fix your flow. I want to have some fun with this. So Al Michaels tells this story, that he's never had a vegetable in his life. Now, you and I say BS. There's no way. But if I were 15 years younger and Al Michaels was like my uncle, I would have bought it. Because when you're younger, you're naive, right? So I'm going to make you think about this. Give me a time you had somebody, like an older person. It could have been an uncle, grandparent. It could still be your parents that told you something that you completely believed. And then one day you realized, wait, hold on a second. Because if I'm younger and Al Michaels is telling me I've never had a vegetable in my life, and he says it with confidence, it's easy to fool a child, right? Like not too long ago, I was down the shore. My nephew was there. And he offered me an apple, and I said, "What's that?" He goes, "It's an apple." I go, "What?" And for 30 minutes, I kept the joke running that I had no idea what apples were and apple juice and all that kind of stuff, right? Like, it was great to the point where I had to, I think I shut his brain down. And I was like, dude, I'm just joking. Like, I know what apples are. They're delicious. And you should eat them. They're good and good for you. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. But I will tell you a specific story. When I was younger, my Uncle Mike, who I brought him up a lot in the air, I love him to death. He's also my godfather. So, boom. When I was a younger kid, and this Al Michaels thing this morning triggered a freaking memory moment. You know how that sometimes happens? You have a memory triggered. I don't know the last time I thought about this, but it triggered a memory. My Uncle Mike has a Senior Frog shirt. The bars,
yes.
Senior Frogs, right? And I remember as a kid, he was wearing this shirt. And I thought it was like a funny shirt, the frog. I was like, look at that cool looking frog. And I remember being like, oh, that's a cool shirt. And he goes, yeah, it's the only one in the world. Bro, when I tell you I bought it, for years, because I'm a kid, I don't know what Senor Frogs is. I'm not going to the bars in Mexico. You know what I mean? I'm not doing any of this kind of stuff. When I tell you I bought that he had this limited edition Senior Frog shirt. And then one day, I don't know, I was like a teenager or something. And I was like, wait, there's a time he told me that he had the one and only shirt. And I saw somebody else wearing the shirt walking by. And I was like, wait, that son of a gun. He lied to me this entire time. Was there ever a time in your childhood, and I'm making you trigger memories now that Al Michaels triggered mine. Was there ever a time? It's a football Friday. We'll get into Eagles. We'll get into Phillies, but I also want to make it a little bit more lighthearted show today as well. Was there ever a time in your youth where you were told something that ultimately ended up being a lie that you just freaking believed it? Like how Al Michaels is trying to make you believe that he's never had a vegetable in his life, and how my uncle told me that he had the one and only Senior Frogs t-shirt in the entire country, in the entire world, period. Was there ever that memory? Ray, do you have one? Before you give it to me, do you have one? Just want to know.
Not yet.
All right, well, think about it while I tell you how to win $1,000.
Win $1,000 right now. 97.5 The Fanatic's Kelly Green Cash.
It is the Fanatic's Kelly Green Cash. Your chance to win $1,000 in a brand new 2023 Birds Kelly Green jersey. Just text the word green, like Kelly Green or Money Green. Green to 45911, or Danny Green, the Sixer, who's back. Text the word green, GREEN, to 45911, or you can enter on the Fanatic app or 975thefanatic.com. One winner selected at random won $1,000 in this company-wide contest. Winners will get a call from Beasley, so be sure to answer your phone. Complete rules at 975thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic's Kelly Green Cash is presented by Rand Spear, the accident lawyer. Demand Rand. Call 1-800-90-LEGAL. And please never text and drive. Good luck. Kevin Burkhardt will be on the call this Sunday, Eagles-Rams. He's going to be joining the show in 4 minutes. I just got word. He'll be on at 12:05. So Kevin Burkhardt, local guy. So I'm sure he's rooting hard for the Phils as well. He was doing a lot of the in-studio analysis for Fox last year. I'll ask him what he's doing this year for Major League Baseball. But he's also going to be on the call for Sunday's game between the Eagles and Rams. So hear from Kevin Burkhardt coming up at 12:05. So Eagles on the table, Phillies on the table, but also the time somebody that was older than you, could have also just been like an older cousin or something like that, or your friend's older brother, that told you a lie. But at the time, you thought it was the stone cold truth. Al Michaels is trying to claim that he's never had a vegetable in his life. My uncle told me when I was a kid that he had the one and only Senior Frogs t-shirt in all of the world. Jamal Hutchinson checks in 1990. He knows the day or the year. In 1990, he was 10 years old. His uncle told him that he and Charles Barkley were good friends. They bumped into Charles Barkley at the Spectrum, and he said, "Unc, there goes your buddy." I yelled, "Chuck, here's my Uncle Dave." And Chuck said, "Who?" And it broke his heart. That sucks. When you find out that way, it sucks. Now, Ray, do you have a time where you were lied to, but you just completely bought into it?
I now, thinking about it, when we were younger, we had one of my best friends, I think it was his uncle, claimed to us that he was there the night that Tupac got shot.
Oh, okay.
That he was in Vegas, that he was like blocks away, like saw the commotion, was all that stuff. And we've tried to work the timeline on this, and it just doesn't check.
It makes absolutely no sense.
It does not check. Yeah, it's one of those things. I was there and bought it forever. Like, oh yeah. Anytime something was in the news, like last week when you were talking about how they made the arrest, that was the one thing where I was like, oh yeah. Like I jumped to my head right away that, oh yeah, that guy claimed he was there and was not. That one, and also my grandfather did the old like, oh, I used to walk uphill to school.
Yeah, both ways, and you believed it.
I believed it, and I remember. Because he grew up in Fishtown. So now the fact that I'm wandering Fishtown consistently, one, where's the hills? What was like the first thing, like the first time I ever ended up down there, like, there are no hills, Fishtown. Like,
right.
Any kid, obviously not thinking about that, but I walked uphill to school, barefoot, the whole thing. Yeah, but there's no, give me something else.
It was snowing in June.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to walk through it. Yeah, I mean, look, it was harder for people back in the day. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's a little over-exaggerated. And I know we always over-exaggerate our stories as we get older. But, come on. You don't have to lie. Joe checks in. His pop said chocolate cake and anything chocolate in general will give him a nosebleed. And he believed it. I know that's a good way to be like, hey, don't eat too much chocolate. You'll get a nosebleed. That's just insane. But yeah, Al Michaels claiming that he's never eaten vegetables in his life is kind of crazy. Kevin Burkhardt, we're calling him right now. He'll be on any second. He's going to be on the call for Eagles-Rams this Sunday. Looking forward to it. I think he does such a tremendous job, and he does a lot of great work with Fox with their baseball coverage, so I'm sure he's going to be busy this is his time now, right? During the month of October, all the stuff he does for Major League Baseball and all the stuff he does for the NFL. So Kevin's going to be on the call Sunday, Eagles-Rams. Can't wait to get his thoughts on the game coming up, his thoughts on the Eagles through the start of the season. And, of course, now the Phillies beginning their journey in a red October. So we're just going to have to head to the Comcast Business Hotline. Comcast Business, every day in business, helps you keep forward with what's next. And we're going to speak to the great Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin on the Comcast Business Hotline. Kevin, what's going on, man?
How you doing, Andrew? Good to talk to you, buddy.
Dude, good to talk to you, too. I always appreciate the time, you coming on the station, talking to you over the years. I appreciate it. And I'm so excited that you're on the call this weekend for the Eagles and the Rams. You're going out to L.A. Enjoy yourself. That should be fun.
Yeah, I live here now, man. So I've been out here now for a while. Obviously, I'm an East Coaster, but I've been here, so I actually get a home game to get.
Oh, that's nice. That's good. Good for you.
1 week off an airplane. I will take it.
Yeah, it's great. So, Kevin, your thoughts on the Eagles so far to start the season? It's kind of been the same thing every single week. They're 4-0. They won. That's great, but they could get better in this area of the game. Finally saw the good offensive performance by Jalen Hurts. But what are your thoughts on the Eagles for the first 4 weeks?
I mean, I think they're a victim of their own success. I mean, everyone's, nitpicking all these things because of how high a level they were playing at the end of last year. And they're not wrong. There are definitely things that they need to improve on. But, I mean, heck, I take 4-0 every single day of the week, right? I mean, I think their offense is just fine, and their offense, I'm not worried about a single lick. I think their defense is interesting. I mean, I think obviously they've got plenty of talent there, but they're playing some soft coverage, and they've allowed a ton of yards in the pass game. If that pass rush doesn't get home, and they normally don't blitz, and we know the pass rush is great, they've got some holes there. And I think this is a tough matchup this week against the Rams. I really do. The way they're playing offensively, they get the second best pass offense in the league, and they get Cooper Kupp back this week. I don't think it's an easy game for Philly at all.
Yeah, Kev, I've been saying as the week has gone on that before the season started, right, we all do the W's and L's, and I think a lot of people chalk this one up as an easy win. I think a lot of us thought the Rams would be kind of rebuilding. They'd be 1-3 at this point, or even worse at 0-4. Offense hasn't looked bad, and we've seen the Eagles secondary get gashed a little bit. So what do you think? How's the plan of attack against not only Cooper Kupp, but now Puka Nacua, who's just taken over the world by storm?
He's actually so fun to watch, this guy Nacua. What a great story. He's kind of like a Kupp replica in some ways. Yeah, I think the Rams' offense is legit. Matthew Stafford is healthy. He was hurt all year last year, and then had a concussion and a neck injury that sent him out for the year. But his elbow was never right. I think their offense is real. I do. I don't know if it's as good as the year they won the Super Bowl, but I think they're a problem offensively. Now, defensively is where the Eagles can take advantage. They're so young on defense. I mean, a lot of inexperience back there. They're playing decent football right now, and they still have Aaron Donald, right? So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I really do. I think it's going to be a fun game, and I think it's a good test for this Eagles D, which is trying to find their footing right now.
Kev, talk about both head coaches, because here in Philly, we obviously pay attention to the national media a lot as well, and it seems like the national narrative is that, Sean McVay is a genius, which, look, he's a great offensive mind, don't get me wrong, but then Nick Sirianni's also just like this annoying frat boy on the sideline. I think they're both great head coaches with bright futures still in the NFL.
I think Nick has done a great job. I mean, he's come in and he's been himself, right? He's been himself. He's done a great job letting the culture in the locker room grow and continue, and guys love him. And I know he took some flack for that camera shot in the playoffs when he kind of looked at the camera, but I thought it was great, and I think every Philly fan thought it was great too. And I think these guys go about it a little different way, but I think they're both excellent head coaches. I don't know how you can't be pleased with what Sirianni has done, right? Like, I think, Andrew, you knew there would be a little bit of a transition when you lose two excellent coordinators and you got to backfill and kind of start from scratch. And I have total faith that the Eagles will be humming on all cylinders by the middle of the year. I really do.
Now, Kevin, obviously when you go into a game and you're doing play-by-play, there are some things, some talking points that you're going to be circling in neon. What are some of the big things for the Eagles? And I'm going to guess as one of them on the defensive side of the ball, the beast that is Jalen Carter.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, right? I mean, Carter I mean, there was obviously talk when the Eagles were able to get him at 9 in the draft, but the guy has been sensational. He's got the second most pressures from any interior defensive lineman in the league, one more than Aaron Donald, I think, which kind of tells you the type of start he's had. If they're without Fletcher Cox, that's a big deal because now all of a sudden guys have to play more reps, and how does that affect them and fatigue later in the game? I think that is a factor. But, the Rams are a little banged up on the offensive line, too. That's a matchup to watch. And then it's the same matchup on the other side. I mean, you're talking about the best offensive line in the league against maybe the best defensive lineman interior-wise to ever play in Aaron Donald. I can't wait to see the early shoves with Kelsey against Donald, right? It's fascinating television to me. So I think that's a great matchup to watch.
Speaking of Kevin Burkhardt, will be on the call for Eagles-Rams. I'm going to get your thoughts on the Phillies in a second because I know you do a lot of great stuff for baseball for Fox as well. But earlier in the week, I had Moose Johnson on. Moose was actually on the call this past weekend with Joe Davis for the Eagles game against the Commanders. And I asked him the question. I want to ask you as well because you guys have the luxury of covering all these teams. You're not always working on the Eagles games. You're covering all these teams. Where do the Eagles compare to some of the other top teams in the National Football League right now? Because obviously we have Super Bowl expectations, but it seemed like the 49ers has looked a little flawless so far. The Cowboys have looked good, but they had that embarrassing loss against the Cardinals. Where do you think the Eagles stand with some of the top teams in the NFL through the first 4 weeks?
I think the NFC is 3 teams. I think it's the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Cowboys, and that's no shock. But I think right now that's where it is until it's proven otherwise. And, we're going to find out a lot about the Eagles later in their schedule. I know we've got a couple of their big games on Fox in November against the Cowboys and against the 49ers. I know they've got Miami in there. Their schedule is real. But I think it's those 3 teams, and everyone else is kind of trying to catch up. I do think Detroit is closing a little quicker on that echelon. They're not there yet, but I like their team a lot. Seattle's playing well. But at this particular moment, week 5, Andrew, I have a hard time seeing how anyone other than those 3 teams is going to go to the Super Bowl from the NFC.
Kev, I'm really excited to talk some baseball with you as well. You do a tremendous job with the baseball coverage on Fox. What's your plan for the playoffs this year? They have you doing some stuff. I know last year you did the studio analysis for Fox.
Yeah, I've hosted the pre- and post-game show for a long time now, and we've got A-Rod and Poppy and Jeter with us, and it'll be a lot of fun. What they do, though, is they switch leagues. So every year they alternate leagues. So this year we have the American League. Last year we had the National League.
Right.
And then we have the World Series. So that's kind of how they do it with ourselves and Turner, just to kind of keep it fair. So obviously we'll be paying attention, but we won't see the NL until the World Series this year.
Now, if people don't know, you're a Philly native, right? So we're so proud of everything you're doing. I know you're out in LA now, but you're a Philly native. And I got to ask you, last year, so you know the deal. You know how a lot of people look at us Philadelphia sports fans outside of Philly, right? They just look at us as cavemen who are knuckle draggers and just drink a lot and yell a lot and all this kind of stuff. But I think last year really showed how great of a fan base we can be. And we're seeing it again this year just through the 2 wild card games with the Phillies against the Marlins. When you're doing what you do and you're going from city to city, how do we compare to other cities, Philadelphia sports fans? And then when you're here with A-Rod and David Ortiz last year, did they realize, like, oh, my God, these guys are awesome?
Well, I mean, I think the story came out during the Super Bowl week that, I mean, I had season tickets to the Eagles for 15 years, so I don't have to be told about the Philly fan base, right?
Right.
Like, I get it. And yeah, when we were there when we were there last year for the NLCS and the World Series, I mean, it was awesome. They all loved it. I mean, look, obviously those guys played in the Northeast, right? Like Philly, New York, Boston. It's just a different animal. It is. And it's just a different atmosphere than other places around the country. So it was awesome. And, look, you're asking me about baseball. I mean, a couple months ago, and who am I? I'm not a prediction maker, but I mean, I thought then, and I think now the Phillies are going to win the World Series. I mean, now look, they have a monumental task to take down the Braves.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, the Braves are unbelievable, but there's just something about this. Ever since the Trey Turner standing ovation, there's something about this team, and the way I look at them is they're so much better than they were last year. I mean, so much better than they were last year, in my opinion. I get into the playoffs. So, look, they've got a big-time task ahead. but I really like their chances. I mean, I like the way they're playing. I like everything about their team right now.
Kevin, listen, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I know you're busy. You got to get ready for this Sunday's game, Eagles, Rams, and, of course, all the stuff that you're doing for Fox with the studio analysis pre- and post-game for the American League playoffs. So get back to all that. We appreciate it. We're proud of you, and thanks for taking the time, and enjoy yourself this weekend.
Good talking to you, Andrew. Be well, buddy.
Thanks. There he is. Kevin Burkhardt from Fox on the call this Sunday, Eagles, Rams. And I love him, man. And, yeah, he was a season ticket holder for the Eagles for a long time. And you wouldn't know it when he's doing the call. That's how talented he is at what he does. But yeah, man, I love that guys like David Ortiz and Alex Rodriguez were like taken aback by Philadelphia sports fans last year, and we're on the map again this year. And I want to celebrate that today with you at 610-632-0975. I'm Andrew Sal. Tunis, quick timeout. We'll be right back right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Busy weekend in Philly sports. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Unbound.org. Your girl in Kenya dreams of
go, Miss Rhonda. 12:23, 97.5 The Fanatic. I'm Andrew Salchunas. 12 o'clock hour is brought to us by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at servicefirsthvac.com. Open the show celebrating us, celebrating the Eagles, celebrating the Phillies. We're very good at pointing out the flaws. We're good at pointing out the negative. And oh my God, how many times do we hear about how much we suck? Which is just wrong. And then there's the people that say no one likes us, we don't care. Yeah, but you know what? We always snap back. We always do. Like, we do care. And I care. I hate when there is a public perception that we are these terrible human beings, right? I love that in the 2 wild card games on the primetime slot, 8 o'clock, first pitches, the world watching got to see just how freaking passionate and excited we were to see the Phillies beat the Marlins. Where the Phillies just to take on the Marlins. First pitch, Zach Wheeler, the place is standing and rocking. I love that we are in the map, and I love that people are seeing the good that is Philadelphia sports fans. And so I want to celebrate that with you today. I want you to express how proud you are to be a Philadelphia sports fan at 610-632-0975. We had a great caller, Steve, earlier. We replayed it earlier. He just talked about how it's different here. How, we haven't seen that much success. But look at how still prideful we are with our teams and how much joy we take and how much, because we know we don't know when the next time the Phillies will be back in the playoffs. There was a 10-year drought. And that drought, not that I'm saying I'm glad that we had the drought, right? But when the playoffs resumed in Philadelphia with the baseball team, we have been taking in every single second of it because we don't know when it's going to be back. Hopefully it's around for a long time. I think this is the beginning of another one of those 5-year stretches like we saw in 2007 through 11. And I just hope this lasts longer than last time, and I hope there's more success than last time. And I hope that there are other teenagers out there right now, like I was a teenager during it the first time, that are starting to get into being a Philadelphia sports fan and living it day in and day out. I hope there's parents that are letting their kids stay up later watching the games. I read you the tweet. There was the guy, the Stoner Philly fan on Twitter, who let an 18-year-old kid leave work early before game 1 of the wild card round because he was going to the game with his family. And he allowed the kid to leave work early. And you know those jobs when you're 18. You're working hard. You're barely getting paid. You're trying to make every single dime you can. But half the time you don't really want to be at that job. I didn't want to be at the pool store. I didn't want to be at Chick-fil-A. I didn't want to be at the Bees. Eating good in the neighborhood. I didn't want to be at those places, but I needed to make money to survive, right? Like, there's bills to be paid. There's rent. There's loans. All that stuff needs to be paid. But when you wanted to leave early, usually you're the young man on the totem pole, which means there's no shot, right? Like when I used to work at Applebee's, I was usually the last one to be let go because it was like, oh, we don't have any tables, but you need to be here just in case. So you're making literally $2 an hour waiting for somebody to come in drunk probably at 12 o'clock on a Friday night, 15th and Chestnut, and then you don't get tipped, right? It was probably you, Ray. Like, thanks a lot, dude. You weren't old enough.
Timeline really matches there.
That does not work at all. But, you make your $8 over 4 hours, and then you finally get to go home. I think it was really cool that Stoner Philly fan allowed this 18-year-old kid to leave work early, his hourly job, I'm sure, early, and go to the Phillies game. And that's really cool. And I love that we have each other's backs right now. And I want to celebrate that at 610-632-0975. And I know VT Ron wants to celebrate it. What's up, Ronnie?
My man, Andrew, what's going on, buddy? Hey.
I'm great, man. I'm great.
Talking about something that is near and dear to my heart. Appreciation, because I'm getting up there. Who knows if I'll ever see another World Series? Who knows if I'll ever see another playoff? Who knows if I'll ever see another Super Bowl victory? My time is getting short. I'm almost at the top of the rung of the ladder.
Nah, dude, you look like you're 30, so come on, man. You look great. Yeah, you're biking, you're running marathons.
Hey, I got to do something to stay alive. But anyway, I live in an area now that is a concoction of all different teams, all different fan bases. And for the first time that I could ever remember, and I don't know if it's because it's here, because these people are hardened Steeler fans, they're hardened Giants fans, but I've been getting texts. And what I'm getting is it's really great to be in Philadelphia as a Philly and an Eagles fan this time of year. And you know how I puffed my chest out on that?
Yes, you
Because
do.
we were never appreciated like that before. Something's changed, and you got it. It's the fan base that we have in Philadelphia has changed. You know, we're not the hooligans anymore. We're the knowledgeable baseball fan. We're the knowledgeable football fan. We're the knowledgeable basketball fan.
And the passionate fan. And the fan that cares more than other cities, too.
Absolutely. And I think it comes through on the TV every time. I just wish I could be in the stands. You know, I'm fortunate I could get up to the Eagles games and be in the stands. I was fortunate to get the flag and things like that. But you know what? I just appreciate every moment that I could puff my chest out and say, I'm a Philly fan. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm a 76ers fan. And I'm a Flyers fan. And there's nothing prouder than to be from Philadelphia and have those sports teams as your teams for life.
I love that,
Grandkids are
man.
going to be green. My grandkids are going to wear green until they're old enough to teach their kids to wear green. And they live in Virginia. And that's where we're at, buddy. Hey.
Well, Ronnie, hold on. Before I let you go, because you led it perfectly. What also we have going on today? Did you hear the Al Michaels audio that we played?
I did.
So Al Michaels claims he's never had a vegetable in his life. Now, I got to ask you, Ron, when you were younger, what was told to you that you believed, and then you finally were like, wait, what? Really? And then now that you're the grandpop, what are you going to be doing to the grandkids?
All right. Can I tell you a funny story?
Please.
This is a true story. And I remember this. I might have been a kid, and I still believed in Santa Claus. And my cousin, who I love dearly, is 6 years older than me. And we were in the basement of my house.
Hey, Ronnie, I'm just going to say this. We still do, Ron. For those listening,
What's that?
We still do.
Well, let me finish this because it's a pretty good story.
Okay.
My cousin tells me it's during, when the Cold War and things like that. And I was young. And he says to me, there's not going to be a Santa Claus this year because the Russians shot every reindeer.
Oh, my God.
And I still remember that to this day. And I think I cried overnight thinking that my cousin told me that Santa Claus wasn't coming.
Yeah, but you know what?
Story,
He is real as real could be, and he's coming to town this year, too, Ronnie. Cooper needs his
and
gifts.
You know what? He's coming every year, and he may be coming not only in December, he may be coming in January with a Super Bowl win, too. Hey, boys, Andrew, keep doing a great job that y'all are doing. And go Birds, go Fightins, and let's finish Red October.
Damn right. Thanks, Ronnie. I appreciate the call, man. All right. Santa Claus is coming to town this winter.
This winter.
This winter. He will be there. Cooper needs his gifts, man. I ain't got the money to buy Cooper gifts. I need my man Santa to come and help out. So I'm looking forward to Santa coming this Christmas and getting the gifts for the kids and Ron's grandkids.
And me.
And Ray. And everybody. Sheesh.
Anyways. Something you said that stuck with me was something that also Steve mentioned, talking about the appreciation. And I think it really hit home, like the cash in of the 10-1 game in April that I watched. It doesn't matter. One of the best things that came out of the drought ending last year was like the outpouring of people being like for me, I was there when Ty Kelly walked off a baseball game.
Right.
I was there for the doubleheader where Scott Kingery pitched and they were down 20 runs and it was single admission, so we were staying for the night game, so we had no choice but to sit through the entire bit of that game.
Right.
Like the types of games, like that type of appreciation for what you had, because I'll say it, I've been spoiled as an Eagles fan. Like my life as an Eagles fan
for sure.
is not the life that my dad had as an Eagles fan because totally different, the number of wins they have. And I did the math before with the Phillies, where I went on one of those sites and it was like, since my birthday, what's the record of the Phillies? Phillies have had a winning record in my life.
Yeah.
Like I've been blessed in all of it, but like you go through some of these stretches where you start to think back of all the times you invested into a team that you knew you were getting no return for. Now you're cashing in. That's why, as much as we can get worried, and I love the bullpen stat you broke out earlier because some of the concerns we have they're having elsewhere.
The Braves bullpen's worse than the Phillies bullpen.
Correct.
By a whole run.
Yes.
And so I'll bring those runs back up coming up, or those numbers coming up. Bob Wankel put together in his newsletter. I'll read those coming up probably closer to 1 o'clock. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying losing all those years is a bad thing or is a good thing, and we're appreciating this more now because of it. I would rather them be in the playoffs every single year. But I think part of our hunger to win because of those droughts is part of the reason why we're so crazy right now, in a good way crazy, at Phillies games, at Eagles games. And I do think the world doesn't want to see us win a lot because I think we would celebrate it more. Like, I think people in Boston have since gotten bored of winning, and I don't think they party the way that we would if we had dynasties. I don't know what a dynasty would be like in Philadelphia. I really don't. We've never experienced it. The closest dynasty we saw was the Phillies in 7-11, and they won one World Series, right? And lost another one and then got bounced one round shorter every single year up until the drought started in 2012. But I do know that drought is a big reason why it was truly so special. The Eagles Super Bowl was truly so special. It was special for you and I, but like you said, we've seen a lot more success with the Eagles. But I imagine it was more special for our fathers who saw a lot of 2-win years. And it's like, oh, my God, we're never going to see them win a Super Bowl. People would say that out loud, that they were never going to see the Eagles hoist the Lombardi trophy. And they did. So, Anthony always says bleed to no bliss, right? That's one of his lines. That is true, though. Because I'm sure there's like some loser kid in Boston that has seen nothing but winning and probably thinks like, oh, this is normal.
It's that kid with the sign.
Yeah, that kid. I've seen 15 championships in 15 years.
I mean, I want
to punch that kid when he's of age.
You said
of age. When he's 18.
Listen, I was going to try and walk my way around saying that. I'm glad that you just went out and said it. I appreciate you doing that.
So
it's true.
It had to be done.
It.
He deserved it.
I lived with someone from
down,
Boston.
Kid. Yeah, come on, man. Oh, you live with, So that's,
one of my best friends from college is from Boston. It was
probably
brutal.
never heard the end of it.
Oh, it was terrible. I watched Game 6 with it this year. I still have flashbacks, bad memories to all of it. It's horrible. Every once in a while, you just want to punch someone from Boston.
Every once in a while. That's all. The other thing, so I brought it up to Ronnie at the end of the call. We had to dump some of the audio. But one of the things that I want to ask from you today on the phones at 610-632-0975 on the side of our Phillies and Eagles conversation, what is something that you were told when you were younger that you just truly believed? And the reason why I'm doing this is Al Michaels, I think it was yesterday, but on CNN, he said that he's never eaten a vegetable in his life. Never eaten a vegetable in his life. And I'm sure he's probably got a grandkid or like a nephew that's probably like, oh my God, really? And probably buys it. Just like I bought my Uncle Mike telling me that he owned the one and only Senor Frogs t-shirt in the entire world. He was the only person to wear it, only person to own it. So I got some good ones on Twitter. Shaner checks in. His cousin was covered in tattoos and told me he drew them on every morning. And he would go around and tell people that until he was 13. And then that's when he realized, like, all right, this is crazy.
That's awesome.
That's pretty freaking awesome. Brendan Casey, when he was 12, his uncle told him that if you traveled at the speed of light to the moon, when you got there, you can look back at the earth and watch the Civil War being fought. That's that's a very deep lie. I don't even know where that would come from, but Brendan believed it. Robert, when he was a kid, his dad told him he was the original drummer of the Beatles, and he told everyone at school that.
Oh.
And it took him a few years to figure that out, so that was tough. There was a guy. Oh man, I forget his name. I went to school with a kid named Keon, and Keon was new to town. So his dad, like, I guess, came in the first day of school just to kind of get him settled because it was the middle of the school year, right? And Keon's dad brought his guitar for some reason, and I'm trying to remember it correctly, but basically the teacher set it up as he has a song to play for you guys, like his song. That's how it was set up.
Okay.
And it was the Yellow Submarine by the Beatles. And I remember being like, that's a kind of weird song, but hey, it's like, sounds good for the kids. Like, we all live in a yellow submarine. He made everyone start singing together, right? I forget. I think he moved into town when we were in like 3rd or 4th grade, something like that. And then one day I heard the Beatles play it. And I was like, that son of a... He did not write that song. He did not write that song.
No, you forget. It was, Paul, John, and Keon's dad.
And
all
Keon's dad wrote
out.
Yellow Submarine. One more on Twitter. Broke G's checks in. To this day, he's scared. He never watches a scary movie at night. And if you do the Boogeyman or Candyman thing, or what's the one in the mirror?
That's the one I was thinking of. The mirror one.
Was
I
it
believe,
Bloody Mary?
Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
I believe there was an older kid in my neighborhood that he was like 4 or 5 years old. And went by us, and I don't even know how it came up, but he shared that one with us.
Yes.
And immediately fear set in across the neighborhood. And the people were not going into bathrooms with the door locked because they were fearful of Bloody Mary when the light was out.
I was the older brother of a friend of mine. We did it. We did the Bloody Mary thing in the bathroom, and he took a red Sharpie and wrote on his arm while the lights were off. And he claimed that Bloody Mary, scratched him, and we just got out alive. Yeah, man, those tales when you're a kid that you believe, and you're like, yeah, I'm not doing this. Fink checks in. When he was younger, his mom would.
Yeah, that's what I started laughing at.
Oh man, you can't tweet that mid-segment.
The Fink trying to get you there.
Think I love you. All right. Just know that. Just know that you are loved, and it's not your fault. We have open lines. You can climb in at 610-632-0975. We have the pick segment coming up at 1:30. And what I want to do is also start focusing on, I'll give you those numbers I told you about from Bob Wankel, some of the stuff to make you feel better about the Phillies-Braves series. Not that I think anybody's down. I think everybody's fired up. Plus, we just saw it last year. The Phillies beat the Braves last year. Why can't they do that again this year? But some numbers from Bob about just how good the Braves are, but they're not that scary because the Phillies are also just as good since the beginning of August. So I'll give you those numbers coming up. And I also want to start previewing a little bit about Eagles-Rams. It's a Football Friday, and Football Fridays on the Fanatic, presented by Pumpman Philly for 24/7 emergency repair, pump replacement. Count on Pumpman Philly, the guys who know to fix your flow. Eagles have now all of a sudden a little bit more difficult matchup. We had Kevin Burkhardt on from Fox. He's going to be on the call. He's telling us to look out for that Rams offense, especially the way the Eagles defense got gashed last week against the Commanders, who could barely do anything against the Bears last night. The Bears won their first game in 14 weeks, dating back to last season. So the Eagles have a little bit more of a difficult task all of a sudden this weekend. So we'll break down a little bit Eagles-Rams as well coming up this weekend, all right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Busy weekend of Philly sports. I'm Ray.
And, like, part of me wants to just ask what he's got, but then part of me, look, when I'm eating, I don't want to be talked to. I'm very big on that. Like, when I come in and I get the breakfast from downstairs, like, just leave me alone.
I try my best to.
I just want to eat. It's not that I can't eat and talk at the same time, but it's like, in the morning, you run around, you're chasing the kid, you bring him to daycare, then you come here. It's like, that's my, like.
Yeah, man, I know. It's
give me 10 minutes.
Tough. When I get up in the morning, the whole, getting myself dressed, walking out my front door, driving
must
here.
Be tough, man.
I'm exhausted by the time I get here. It's a little much for me.
Yeah, must be tough. That's okay. I'm not one of those guys. All right, so Phillies, Braves begin tomorrow. Eagles, Rams on Sunday. I want to repeat some of this stuff that Bob Wankel, he does a daily newsletter for the Phillies. He puts some stuff out about the NLDS preview. And I want to read some of this stuff because I think it's important. Because I know, look, there's some people that believe the Braves are like such a better team that there's no shot the Phillies win. We're just hoping that straight up magic and vibes carries the Phillies into the NLCS, right? Which the magic and vibes of this team are strong enough where that is actually a possibility, right? Like there's something to this team. There's something to that clubhouse. They talk about being a family all the time. There's something to them that playing for each other may actually propel them into winning some games, right? But then you realize the Braves have been one of the best teams, if not the best team in baseball throughout the entire regular season. And there are numbers to back that up for the Braves. And here's some stuff that Bob put out there. Braves are the first team in MLB history, not this season, not this decade, but history, to finish the season with a slugging percentage of over 500. 5 batters finished the season with a slugging percentage over 500. Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, Marcell Ozuna, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies. Obviously, guys that you should fear in the lineup every single day during this series. He says, comparatively, the Phillies didn't have a single player slug at least 500. Bryce Harper was the closest with 499. Nick Castellanos then with 476. Schwarber with 474. He mentions the Braves led the major leagues with 317 total home runs this season, which ties the Twins for the single-season record, which they set in 2019. And he said, for the first time in franchise history, 6 Phillies slugged at least 20 home runs. That's awesome, but the Braves had 7 players do it, 5 of which hit at least 33. So the numbers show the Braves are as dominant as their record makes it out to be. He also mentions with Suarez expected to start game 1, it's worth mentioning the Braves had an OPS of 871 against left-handed pitching. That was the best in baseball. The second best, the Astros, 809. So 871 to 809. It's like the Eagles sack total last year, right? They had 70. The next closest team had 55. So, yes, the big bad Braves, they're scary. They have a lot of great numbers behind them. But don't all of a sudden say the Phillies aren't good. And I love that Bob said this is not a David and Goliath story. He followed up by saying, I didn't mean to kill the vibes heading into the weekend, so let me add these notes. And I appreciate this. Since August 1st, the Braves have hit 107 home runs. Only one other team hit 107 home runs. That's the Phillies. And they did it in 2 less games. Since August 1st, the Phillies offense has run with some of the best baseball lineups. Over their final 56 games in the season, the Phillies were 6th in batting average, 6th in OBP, 2nd in slugging, 3rd in OPS. And the one that I think is most important for Phillies fans to hear, because I think going into the playoffs, I took at least 100 calls the week leading up to game 1 of, oh my God, the bullpen's going to kill the Phillies. The bullpen's going to be the reason why they don't go far in the playoffs. Since July 1st, the Phillies bullpen ERA is 3.08. And I pointed this out to you the last time the Phillies played the Braves at Citizens Bank Park when the Phillies dropped 3 of 4, but the Phils kept on coming back every single game. The Braves bullpen since July 1st is at 4.08 ERA, a full run higher. And then if you want to go WAR, the wins above replacement, the Phillies have the 3rd best of any bullpen since July 1st with 3.6. The Braves 11th with 1.4. The bullpen has been a detriment to the Braves even with their 100-plus wins. So for all, for the John Kincaids of the world that point out, oh, the Braves beat the Phillies by so much in the standings. I don't care. It is a clean slate come playoff time. You talk about the teams getting hot going into the playoffs. The Phillies are hot going into this series after winning both games against the Marlins in the wild card series. The Phillies are the hot team. The Braves have had to wait a long time, A, playing baseball, and B, playing meaningful baseball. It's not easy to just flip that switch and turn it on. So I feel great still about the Phillies' chances going to Atlanta and taking at least one. I do think, gut feeling, Phils drop game 1. They win game 2. And then they take care of business in Philadelphia games 3 and 4. So I think the Phillies lose game 1 and then win 3 straight. I would prefer them to win game 1 just so that my nerves can be calmed, because if you lose game 1, that would be terrifying. But I got Zach Wheeler on the mound in game 2, and I will feel extremely confident going into Monday night. Ray, your thoughts on Phillies Braves as we head into the weekend? We got an hour and change left in the show. I want to hear your thoughts on the Phillies, 610-632-0975. Get hyped up for the series against the Braves, because all of a sudden, 6:07 tomorrow, it begins.
I can't wait. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing for the game, but beyond that.
I told you I'm lucky. I got the bachelor party.
It's gonna be a good
all of a
time.
sudden, we're just going to be watching the Phillies.
For this weekend, especially what you're getting in game 1, like there is no doubt in my mind if you take game 1 that this is coming back. Like this is over. You're coming back. You're clinching here. Just because if you're able to take out Strider and Suarez, I know you just laid out what they've done against lefties, assuming Suarez gets a start, like you are in just a beautiful, beautiful spot. Obviously, getting the 1 in the split. The crazy thing about winning 3 in a row against this team is it's hard for me to envision them beating the Braves 3 consecutive games, and nothing against the Phillies. It's just more a compliment to the Braves of 3 straight times going after it. But I feel incredibly good because I look at the pitching staff, and I do really believe in what they've got in terms of back end of the bullpen. And your starting pitching is healthier than what the Braves are going with right now. They have question marks, and you could rightfully point to last season where at the end of the season we had question marks. Pitching staff ended up turning out fine for the Phillies here. But I think the question marks surrounding, what's Fried's availability for a second game in this series? What's he going to look like in one game in this series? What's the deal with Morton? Like, I think there's things there that concern me. And then look at the back end of their bullpen. Philly's been able to get to it. Philly's been able to get to it a couple of times now. Yeah. And the concern surrounding their bullpen, that's why we have conversations. I think every city has conversations about the bullpen. I really do. I think it's one of those finicky jobs where it's one day your ERA could be inflated by a 3-run outing, and for the next month, people are questioning you when you've quietly had 6 or 7 great outings in a row because, the ERA doesn't match it. It's a long season. Sometimes our memories aren't as, long as the season is. With what the Braves bullpen is versus what the Phillies bullpen is, both full of electric arms, both have had teams get to them. I just think that the Phillies are round into form, and we're finding that right now in terms of what they've got in the back end. That excites me a ton. I feel really good going in this series, which I could be a fool later on. But the way this team's playing, the fact they have the week layoff, and the fact that I like their pitching going into the series with Atlanta makes me feel really good.
Yeah, I mean, you go head-to-head starting lineups, right? Braves have the better lineup. But it's not like the Braves lineup versus the Marlins lineup, right? Like the Phillies had far and away the better lineup than the Marlins. Like it wasn't even close, really. I know, Soler had 36 home runs. Okay. And I like Jazz Chisholm. I know Josh Bell and Berger were good additions for them at the bullpen or at the deadline. I know Arise had the incredible season with his batting average. But when you stack the two up, it wasn't even close who the better lineup was. I will say the Braves have the better lineup than the Phillies, but it's not the way I felt Phil's Marlins. Like the Phillies stack up with the Marlins lineup. They do. You got Bryce Harper for crying out loud. Nick Castellanos, who's the Castellanos we expected when they signed him. Schwarber with all the bombs that he can hit. Like, it's not a lopsided margin in terms of who the better lineup is. Bullpen, Phillies have the edge, and starting pitching, Phillies have the edge. The Braves may have the most dominant pitcher in the series. But, dude, when Zach Wheeler is on, there's not many better pitchers in Major League Baseball. We had Buster Olney on earlier this week. And his colleague, I forget his name because I actually sent you something that I should get to at some point. I forgot to get to it. But his colleague at ESPN put together the list of the top 40 players going into the postseason. And that guy had Zach Wheeler as the number one starting pitcher amongst all teams, both National League and American League. He had Zach Wheeler as the top pitcher in the playoffs. Our Zach Wheeler. So, yeah, the lineup might be more dangerous in Atlanta, but it's not that much more dangerous than the Phillies. And the Phillies have the edge in starting pitching and relief. Do you have the arc? I know I texted it to you. If you could pull it up. What was that absurd? It was an ESPN Plus thing. I just forget who wrote it. What was absurd was he had Bryce Harper at number 40. Which, like, who in their right mind puts Bryce Harper? Out of all the players in the playoffs this year, he is Bryce Harper as the 40th best player. You're absurd for saying that, dude. Like, is that just trying to get my attention kind of deal? Like, come on, bro. Like, sometimes you don't need to hit send. Sometimes there's got to be an editor that goes, are you really believing? Do you really think this way?
David Schoenfield.
I've read his stuff before, David Schoenfield. That was the guy that Buster Olney brought up earlier this week. He has Bryce Harper as the 40th out of 40 players in the playoffs, the 40th best player. That's just dumb. That's asinine. And that should be completely crushed. And I apologize to all of you Philadelphia fans for not bringing this up earlier in the week. Because I saw it the day before the wild card round, and I remember texting you, we need to bring this up if Harper has a big night tomorrow.
I got the explanation here for you.
Okay, what's the explanation?
All right, so he does the strength and weakness for each player as they go into the postseason. The strength, final numbers turned out fine. 293, 401, 499 / 21 home runs, but it took 16 home runs in the final 2 months to get there after failing to hit from much power when he returned quickly from Tommy John surgery. His second half numbers are a better representation of what to look for in October. 296, 413, 583 / More than anything, however, it's his ability to rise to the occasion. Who can forget the home run off of Robert Suarez to clinch last year's NLCS? Nobody. Weakness. This is kind of odd, given Harper has one of the highest walk rates in the majors and an average strikeout rate, but his whiff rate is way down in the 11th percentile. So he swings and misses a lot. And his chase rate is also way down in the 21st percentile.
Blah, blah, blah.
Let's just say he doesn't get cheated on his swings.
Oh, so that makes him 40th out of 40?
So to be clear, he goes in this whole long thing in the strength about how great the second half was and how he started to look like the Bryce Harper that you've come to expect, and he rises to the occasion in the moments. And the weakness is, well, I opened up the numbers, and it says he's swinging and missing a lot.
So that puts him 40th?
Apparently.
That's ridiculous. That's dumb. Like, why do we have to try to be this hot take stuff all the time? God, it's stupid. I can't wait for that to bite him in the rear end when Harper's, MVP of the World Series. Can't wait. I'll be there. Here you go. Old takes exposed. We got two open lines, 610-632-0975. We'll get into some Eagles-Rams as well. I'm sure this is going to be great. When I need to get hyped up, I know to go to one man, and that's Tom from Alabama. What's up, Tom?
Sal Tunas. How are you, my friend? It's great to speak with you.
It's always a pleasure, Tom. What do you got for me today?
Well, I'm going to tell you a story real quick, and it's a true one, Jack, and you could believe it. In 2008, when the Phillies were making that run, Tom from Alabama was like 40 years old, and Tom from Alabama just got married. Tom from Alabama just started a new job, the whole deal, right? So I'm watching Game 5 of the World Series. We're up 3-1, and it starts raining like hell in the seventh inning. And I said, "That's a sign. We're not going to win the night. We're going to wait until tomorrow night." I said, "I got an idea." But then the commissioner comes on the next day, Tuesday at noon, and announces they're not going to play tonight. They're going to wait till Wednesday night to restart Game 5. Well, you know what Tom from Alabama did?
What?
Tom from Alabama told his new wife and his new boss, "Hey, y'all two can hang out together. I'm open-minded, but when I get back, make sure she's back. But I'm going, Jack. I'm going to get me a World Series ring." Now, it was 3-1, okay? Nothing was assured. It was 4-3. But you know what Tom from Alabama did? Tom from Alabama rolled the dice because he's a Philadelphian.
Yes.
He's a Delaware Valley, and he's been gone a long damn time south. And this deal with Wheeler Whalers number one. Hell, why don't you just meet me, Sal Tunis, in Atlanta, GA? You know what? To hell with that. Tell your boy Kevin Burkhardt to meet Tom from Alabama, not Los Angeles. Tell him to meet me the night before the game in Hollywood, Jack, on Hollywood Boulevard, and I'll show him how the Eagles are going to get a rotation started, just like we did when I was a kid on the corner of 10th and Snyder Avenue in South Philadelphia, Jack. EAGLES, Eagles.
Yes! Yes! I needed that from Tom from Alabama. I don't know if that's his legitimate kid or not, because apparently his wife and his boss were messing around. That part I didn't really expect to happen, but he went to Game 5 allegedly. But that's the kind of energy I need, and I knew that Tom from Alabama was going to bring it, Ricky Bo. I knew it. Ricky Bo's flexing out there. He's got his shirt off. He's waving around like a rally towel. That's how much Tom from Alabama pumped him up. I love that. All right. The other thing that we're doing today, because I see Ken in Philly wants to talk about it. So Al Michaels told people that he has never had a vegetable in his life. I call BS. But I want to do a little fun side topic. What is the thing that you were told when you were a kid that you just truly believed? And my uncle told me that he had the one and only Senor Frogs t-shirt in the world. And I bought it until I finally saw somebody years later wearing one. And I said, hold on a second. I was lied to. I couldn't I have not trusted anybody since then. As much as I love my uncle, I have not trusted a single person since then. He lied to me. Ken in Philly has one too. What's up, Ken?
Yeah.
What up?
What's up, Andrew?
What's
How you
going
doing,
on?
buddy? Yo, before I get into the story, I just want to let you know how much of a pleasure it was to meet you at FanFest.
Brother, of course, man.
And you were one of the bright parts of my day that day, so I just want to let you know that.
Listen, man, FanFest is a good time, and it's a humbling experience, and hanging out with all you guys, it's truly special. So I appreciate the kind words. It was great hanging out with you, man.
Of course, but I got a good one for you, okay? So when me and my sister were young, my mom was a big-time Elvis fan, and when we were younger, she told us that the father we know is not our actual father. Our real father was Elvis. Right?
Oh, my God.
And, I told my dad, I was like, okay, so my real dad was a rock star and you work in a union. I was like, you got some big shoes to fill. But really what I should have said was you got some big blue suede shoes to fill.
Damn right.
And, oh my God, my dad to this day doesn't let go of it. He still tells all of his buddies about what his wife did and how she got us to believe that Elvis was.
So how old were you when that happened?
Oh, I had to be 7, 8. My sister had to be 3 or 4 years old.
Like, did you cry? Like, what? What happened when
Dude,
she told you that?
My world fell apart. I was like, my dad's a rock star? Like, you listen to him every day. Like, this is my dad? I'm like, oh, but, well, my concern, my dad now ain't really doing it for me. I need to go to Los Angeles or something.
So what you like when you first saw your dad? Like, what was that like? Like, or your actual father?
Oh, I was like, dude, come on,
kick rocks, bro.
I was like, how
where's my Cadillac?
Right, where? I was like, Mom, where's the money at? He didn't leave you no money, no nothing.
My God,
it was a crazy lie she told us, and she did it all for fun and games. And I'm 25 now, and I still hear about it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean,
So
when your poor father's walking around like, oh, great.
Oh,
You know,
great, my kids think their dad's Elvis.
Oh my God, that's awesome, Ken. Thanks for the call, man. Great hanging with you at FanFest. What? Could you imagine that? You know, you're 7 years old. You know, you've been hanging out with your dad. You're playing catch in the backyard. All of a sudden, your mom goes, "Yeah, it's not your real father. Elvis is." And when you're young, you're naive. And if she's playing it in the house all the time, right? Like he's probably like, "Oh wow, that kind of makes sense."
I can't imagine that happening. I
No,
can't
I
imagine
would have
my whole
cried.
worldview. Yeah, it would have been over.
That's why I asked him. I was like, "Dude, you cry?" Like,
would have been broken. I don't care who it is, whether it's Elvis. It's like,
oh my God,
man, we're gonna have to save this segment forever. We've had quite the 10-minute run here.
This is Tom from Alabama just bringing the energy, and then
a lot of infidelity in the last 10 minutes here. Tom from Alabama.
Yeah, that's right. His boss is hanging out with his wife.
Now Elvis and Ken's mom. Like, what?
This is a crazy segment. You know, the best show ever. It's usually the 3:00 hour on a Friday. Might have started early, 1:00 on a Friday. You know, it's Phillies Braves start tomorrow, Eagles Rams Sunday. There's a lot of excitement in the air, so people may start imbibing early.
I don't blame them.
Man, that must have been a tough thing to hear. 1:00 hour brought to us by Ferguson HVAC Line Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment parts and supplies for every heating and cooling job. Visit one of Ferguson's counter locations in Ben Salem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. Kyle and Dave both want to talk about the Phillies game 1 tomorrow. Man, if they could steal game 1, it might be a clean sweep. I don't know. I'll get chesty. Screw it. They take game 1, it's a sweep. Because Zach Wheeler's not losing game 2. That's why I keep on saying they come home 1-1. I do believe that the Braves may take game 1, but Zach Wheeler takes game 2. But if you steal game 1, they're coming back up 2-0 in Philadelphia, and they're sweeping the Braves. Screw Atlanta. Screw that chop. Screw Ozuna from the Braves. That drunk. Like, come on, man. Screw that team. I hate this team. We haven't expressed good hate for the Braves yet. We got Blooper, the mascot, talking smack on Twitter. No. I'm not allowing this. There's not been enough Braves hate this week. You know, we're playing Dancing on My Own. The vibes are great. Now it's time to turn to war because you know this series is going to be a little bit different than what we saw against the Marlins. This is a real series now. I need some good Braves hate to close out the show today, too. Screw the Braves. Larry Jones. You know, I'm growing up. The Braves are supposed to be this big, bad baseball team. Phil's won the World Series in 2008. Phil's won the divisions from 7 to 11. They're back at it now in the wild card, but that's okay. I need some good Braves hate to close out the show, Ray. I need some from you, too. Be ready. 610-632-0975. I'm Andrew Salchunas. We'll give some picks for this weekend slate of NFL games at 1:30, but your calls before and after, all right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Snap in action this NFL season with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge, America's #1 sportsbook. Just told you, we'll be doing our picks coming up at 1:30. We do all the picks from the FanDuel Sportsbook app, and right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on all the action. Just visit FanDuel.com/Fanatic. The app is super easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. And I told you, an anytime touchdown bet that I would like to make, that I will be making this weekend, is Jamar Chase. Now, I might get bit in the rear end again taking the Bengals against the Cardinals. Bengals, I can't believe they lost as embarrassingly as they did against the Titans last week, but I'm going to take the Bengals to cover the 3 against the Cardinals, but also an anytime touchdown for Jamar Chase. He was very unhappy after the game last week. We saw what that did with A.J. Brown. The guy's over 300 yards receiving over the last 2 weeks. Maybe Jamar Chase has his big day. Visit FanDuel.com/Fanatic and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. You got to be 21 plus, present in PA. First online, real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as knowledgeable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Segment for me today on this beautiful Friday, the day before the Eagles take on the Phillies take on the Atlanta Braves in the NLDS, and 2 days before the Eagles take on the Rams. Sunday, 4:25 kickoff. We had Kevin Burkhardt on earlier today talking both Phillies and Eagles, local guy, but of course lives out in L.A. now and is doing play-by-play for Fox for the NFL, and he's doing the call for the Eagles game this weekend. And then, of course, does some studio stuff for Fox for baseball. They're focusing on the American League, but he's got that Phillies blood in his heart, too. So check that out again on 97.5 thefanatic.com. I'll get to the calls in a second. We're going to be doing our picks around 1:30. I want some good Braves hate to close out the show, leading you into the best show ever at 2 o'clock. So good Braves hate, some thoughts on the series ahead, and also Eagles if you want to talk about it. I mean, we haven't really talked much Eagles today because the Phillies are fully on our mind right now. But a run-through of what I have ahead that I would love for you guys to be a part of. So Sunday, I'll be doing the pregame show, the FanDuel pregame show, Birds pregame show, from Vinyl in Center City. So Bob Cooney, myself, Pat Egan will be doing the pregame show from Vinyl in Center City Sunday, 1 o'clock until kickoff. So if you're looking for a spot to hang out before the game or to even watch the game, come check us out at Vinyl. Ray Dunn said he may make an appearance. And I told you I may buy you a beer, Ray, for all the hard work you've done.
I appreciate that.
And then I might buy you a beer Monday if you come through.
Probably.
Because Monday, you probably will or won't.
Probably will.
All right, good.
Good chance you'll see me twice this weekend.
Monday, I will be doing the show middays from the Huntington Valley Country Club. It will be the Darren Dalton Foundation Golf Outing. They do it every single year. It is a beautiful foundation for Dutch and for, obviously cancer research. So check that out. If you're in the area, stop on by. Of course, a lot of former Phillies there and other members of the Philadelphia area will be golfing in it. So I'll be doing middays from there, but then I'll be doing a watch party with Pat Egan. I'll be hanging out with Pat way too much. Pat and I, our friends from Corona, will be helping us host a watch party from Top Tomato on Monday. Top Tomato also in Center City from 6 o'clock until the end of the game. So come check out Pat and I if you're looking for a spot. That's the beauty of October baseball is you're now looking for places to watch the games, right? That's the beauty of it. I love just sitting at home, but I also love going out with the people. So Monday, 6 to 9 or 6 to, the end of the game, Pat and I will be doing a watch party from Top Tomato. Tuesday, I'll be doing middays from Rally House. Not sure which location just yet, but it's either Wynwood, right down the street from here, or Fairless Hills. I'll let you know when we find that out. And, of course, Rally House is an awesome spot to go to get geared up for this Red October. And, of course, all your Eagles gear, too, because the Eagles are undefeated. And hopefully we'll still be undefeated come Tuesday. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm doing the show from PJ Willihan's, Maple Shade. I'm doing I saw you. You almost told me. I got this. PJ Willihan's, Maple Shade, the same one we were at earlier this week to toast Red October before the Phillies took on the Marlins. This time it'll be before the first home game of the NLDS. So day of game 3, I'll be doing the show from PJ Willihan's and potentially doing a watch party Wednesday night. We don't know the times of the game yet. I was told that we were going to find out yesterday. We still have not. If the game is a Wednesday, like post-midday show time, I'll be hosting a watch party again with Pat Egan, courtesy of our friends from Corona. And I've been told potentially, still no shot yet, but potentially Patty Wax on South Street. So then another spot to hang out with people. Wednesday night, Patty Wax. I'll let you know when that is official. And then Thursday, I'm back at the studio.
Be good to see you.
It'll be good to see you, too. I will be seeing you.
Yeah, you will be seeing me.
Yeah. So Thursday, I'll be back at the studio, and then Thursday night is Game 4, in which I will be attending. I'll be going to Game 4. And then so hopefully Friday, it's a damn party. We celebrate the Phillies moving on to the NLCS, and then we also get set for Eagles-Jets is Week 6. So all of a sudden, I mean, we are in October. It's flying through right now. The sports schedule is crazy, and I love every second of it. Let's go back to the phones, talk to Kyle in Philly. Kyle, you're on the Fanatic.
Hey, what's up, Tunis?
What's up, Kyle?
So, a couple things. One, the Darren Dalton Foundation celebrity golf outing. I was there last year. I actually met you there. You were setting up. I was asking you. I was like, "Where's Ann?" He's like, "He's coming in, but I'm going to be there this year again." I think I'm teamed up with Ricky. I was teamed up with Ricky Jordan last time. It's a great event, man.
It's beautiful, man, and I can't wait to see it again. I don't know where we'll be. I was told because it's nice out, we might be outside. Last year we were in at that bar.
Yeah, you were inside that room.
Yeah, so hopefully we're outside. If it's nice out enough, I'll be outside. Mike Vito, our great engineer, just walked by. He said outside, so I'll be outside set up this time on Monday.
Come by and shake your hand. But,
please, man, I would love that.
But to the Phillies, man, this is such an exciting time for Philadelphia. I mean, I just got, you know how on Facebook you get those, how they have like posts that you did.
Oh, the memories, yeah.
Well, a memory popped up on mine that said, Eagles 4-0, Phillies about to go to the playoffs, Philadelphia is popping. And it popped up, and I'm like, this is so nostalgic because we're going through the exact same thing again this year. You know what I mean? It's going to be an incredible run. Phillies, I expect them to beat the Braves. I think they have to take game one. That's just my personal opinion, only because the Braves are on a layoff. They haven't played, any meaningful baseball in a couple weeks. I think that they have the best chance to take that game one.
Dude, if they take game one, I'm dead serious. I think they can win in 3. Because then I got Zach Wheeler, who looks absurd right now, and then it could be Nola game 3. The only thing that's going to suck is I won't be able to go to game 4.
And Nola is the one who's surprising me the most. His stuff was so nasty the other night. The curveball, his everything he was throwing, every pitch he was throwing was nasty, man. And it may not have related, to strikeouts, but he kept everything.
But I was okay with that. His stuff moves enough that they're not going to get good barrel on the ball. And if it's moving and he's not looking to throw strikeouts and then working these deep counts, and then all of a sudden the 8th pitch of the at-bat is where he gets hurt. If he's just throwing and letting them hit it, he's got good enough stuff that's going to keep guys off balance.
Exactly. I was watching, between Wheeler and Nola, the pitch count, like Nola's pitch count was so low.
Low.
I was like, oh, my God, this was so good. But you know what? Phillies are going to beat Atlanta. I can't stand the Braves. Been a Phillies fan since '96. I hate those Braves.
Yeah, screw the Braves, man. I love that. That's good hate. Thank you, Kyle, and I can't wait to see you on Monday. That's good hate. I mean, the Phillies, they're legit, man. They're a legit team. And Aaron Nola, pitched the way you pitched last game. Seriously. Just keep guys off balance. Your stuff moves enough. You're good. Don't get in your own head. Don't nibble. Don't work these 0-2 counts to 3-2 counts. I was watching Ricky on the postgame show. He brought that point back up again. Like, he didn't do that. That's great. Keep it up, man. Like, Aaron Nola's got good enough stuff where he's his own worst enemy. How many times have we talked about the Eagles have been their own worst enemy? Kevin Burkhardt said it again. The Eagles have been their own worst enemy so far this year. And they're 4-0. Aaron Nola's a very talented pitcher. He just gets in his own way. And if he settles in the way that he did the other night, man, they're going places. Let's go to David and Glenside. David, you're on the Fanatic.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, and great show.
Thanks, brother.
It's always a pleasure listening.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the best time of year. It's cool. Teams are doing great, and it's spooky season. And actually, your topic about a lie we were told when we were little got me thinking. My dad told me when I was little, because I used to sneak into their room at night from nightmares, that if I left my bed, the monster would grab me from under my bed. And you know what? It worked, but it got me thinking, that's the Phillies right now with the Braves. We're that monster lurking in their room, and they know we're coming, and there's not a thing they can do about it.
No, and they do not want to lose game 1, man. They lose game 1, it is scary because it will just send flashbacks right back to what they were doing last year. They're the best team in baseball and blah, blah, blah. And then the Phillies go in and they shut them down in game 1. And look at what happened. They end up taking games 3 and 4 and they move on to the NLCS.
Yeah, I mean, if we can steal one from Strider, I mean, that's lights out.
If they win game 1, they sweep. If the Phils win game 1, they sweep. I don't think they win game 1. It's my honest opinion. I think they drop game 1, but I do think they can take games 2, 3, and 4. In one way or another, David, the Phillies are winning 3 straight in this series.
I 100% agree. And you know what? I love being the bad guy, and I love being the boogeyman. So I hope they're ready.
Oh, yeah, we're the boogeyman. Yeah, Dave. We're the boogeyman, Ray. Look, they're having nightmares. They've had nightmares ever since the home series here in Philly, where they just could not. It's like the vampire, man. You got to rip off the head and light us on fire, something like that. Phils aren't ever dead, man. Doesn't matter what the score is. The Phils are never dead. And then they go to Truist Park, and the Phils take 2 of 3. And that's the last memory the Braves have of the Phillies in this season, is dropping 2 of 3 in their home park. And don't give me they weren't playing anybody. No, they had their starting 9. In all 3 games but one, they had 1 backup in. They started starting 9, 8 of 9, and 9. I'm telling you, man, the Braves are scared. The fans are scared. The players are scared. And I guarantee you Brian Snicker's scared. Let's go to Ryan in South Jersey. Ryan, you're on the Fanatic.
Gentlemen, good afternoon.
What's up, Ryan?
Not much. So real quick, my lie is got to be the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus.
Come on, man. It's the second time. You got to keep that on the low.
It was kind of devastating, but I also kind of figured it out. And then once I realized Santa wasn't
la 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 la. There are children listening. Ryan from South Jersey, please stop it, or I will hang up. It's really not that funny. Please talk about the Phillies. I'm begging you.
Not a problem, brother. We did it last year. My thing, I think, is what's going to really, other than pitchers pitching, hitters hitting, which everything seems to be firing. I think coaching is going to be a very interesting point in this, and I'm just going to circle back to, unfortunately, a painful example, and that would be, Wheeler's dealing in the World Series, breaking guys' bats, and we pull them. I think coaching is going to have a very big part in this game than people would think, and I think it's going to be know when the guys are hot, ride the guys that are hot. Don't pull them when they're dealing, and I think coaching is going to have a very big part in this. But the Braves and their stupid tomahawk chop and everything about them, I loathe them just like I loathe the Mets. But I think coaching is going to have a pretty big hand in this.
Yeah, and Topper once again pushed the right buttons in the first 2 games. And thanks for the call, Ryan. Ryan Thompson. Topper's got a clue right now. He does, and I think he learned from last year. We talk about pulling Zach Wheeler out too early, or maybe Nola too early. He let him pitch the first 2 games of the playoffs, and so Rob Thompson, I think he's learned a little bit from last year. I think he was already a good manager, but I think he's learned a little bit. Now, please, enough with that lie. Please, if you're listening, come on, man, you got to be smarter. You're not just talking to you and me. Crying out loud. Jeez, you have no soul.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
I will tell you a story off the air about my experience.
I also have a similar story I meant to tell you off the air as well. But hey.
But we're not doing this. Come on, man.
What are we doing? Come on, people. Think.
Please. Let's go to Joe in Atlanta. What's up, Joe?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, what's up?
They didn't tell. I didn't hear they were calling me over.
Good. What's up, dude?
I got your good Braves hit. Okay,
please.
Been in Atlanta for close to 20 years. Had to deal with these fans. My wife and I are both from the Harrisburg area. We went to school in Philly, and we're from the land, right? You remember the land,
of course.
And, yeah. So you go to these games. My boys go. I've got teenage boys. They go to the game. They buy seats in the nosebleed. They walk down to the front and basically do whatever they want because no one goes to their games. No one goes to their games. They don't have fans.
Yeah, no, it's all fake. Pat Egan put it out on Twitter yesterday. You can actually fly from Philly to Atlanta, go to a playoff game, fly back, and it'll be less money than what it is to actually go to a Phillies playoff game right now.
Right. So here's the conundrum. I got a lot of kids. So we got 5 of us. We wanted to go to the game. We're going to drop about $1,000, not even including the beer, right?
Right.
Just to go to game 2. So Monday night, that's the quandary. Do we go to game 2 or do we not go to game 2? Then I got one other question. I'll let you go.
I would say go to game 2 because that's the game I feel more confident in, too. I got Zach Wheeler on the bump.
Right.
I know financially that's your decision. I'm not going to make your financial decisions. But if there's a game to go to, yes or no, I would say go to game 2. But I don't know your financial situation, so I'm not going to, I'm not going to make that call for you.
Thank God we're okay. But the point is that here's the bigger question: Is Strider going to possibly pitch game 4, assuming there's a game 4?
Yes. I think that's already been kind of discussed.
I am so looking forward to seeing what that crowd does to that man after his comments. I'm waiting in just like I'm dying to see what happens to that crowd.
And you know how athletes are, right? He's going to come in here, game 4, and be like, all right, I'm going to show those Philadelphia sports fans. And then you get tight. You're gripping the ball a little bit too tight, right? You're not pitching the way you normally would pitch because all of a sudden you got that in your mind. And then you hear the Strider chants from the Phillies fans.
We need to hear it. We need to hear it through. I'm going to let you go because then you got other callers. We're going to give you one more thing.
Yes, thank you, Joe. There was a crowd back there too.
Nice little background support.
I like that. That was fantastic. Yeah, dude. I think Strider, they already said we'll go game 4. Because it also works out. They have the day off after game 1. And oh my God, I'm begging for that. I'm begging for it. I need it. Part of the reason why I picked game 4. I need it, dude. I need to hear the Strider chants again, and I need that guy to pee his tight pants again. Rip the mustache off, walk around Fishtown with Ray. I don't care. He does not belong on a major league mound. He stinks. He's the worst pitcher of all time.
Glad we haven't evolved into the takes.
Screw Spencer Strider. No, I hate him. I hate the Braves. All right? Not as much as the Mets, as you guys know. But I hate the Braves. Screw Blooper. All right? Screw those fake fans. And I love this next call. This is a man who I've talked football with for many, many years now. He resides in Georgia. And he's about to tell us that everybody's scared down there. Andrew in Georgia, what's up, man?
Andrew, it's Friday. You understand?
Yes.
The sun is up in the sky right now, okay? And I'm excited. Right now in my stomach, there's no butterflies. You understand? It's nothing but pure excitement. And I walk around and I talk to people and I look into their eyes and all you see is fear. Okay? Nobody steps to me and says, "Oh, we're going to crush you guys." Right? And I'm just walking around letting it hang out. Right? I'm saying we're coming, we're here, and guess what? We're going to beat you like we did last year because this is our year. Okay? They are petrified. They are fake. They are nothing. They are nothing. You understand? When the boys roll in here, I don't know what's going to happen game 1, game 2. I don't know any of that, Jets. All right? I'm not predicting that, but I am predicting this. There's going to be a parade on South Street, and I'm going to fly up the whole damn family, and we're going to be there because I am beyond excited, and we are all ready for this, Andrew. We are all ready for this. October is our time. It is our time. I go down there and I see all those pennants, right? They got all those pennants flying in the outfield. I'll spit on all of them. I'll urinate on all of them. Yes. You know why? Because their time is done. I don't care what they did in the regular season. We are taking this thing. It's over. It's over.
Yeah, let them hang the banner for winning the division. Let them hang that banner. But we're going to hang the banner for winning the damn pennant.
You're damn right. You're damn right. And I'm going to point at my ring finger. I'm going to hold it up. I'm going to hold it up, and I'm going to do. And I'm going to say, here it is, boys. Here it is. Because guess what? Like Goonies, right? It's our time. It's our time. Andrew, let's go. Red October. Let's go, Phils. I've been on a train with you. Rocket, let's go, Birds. Here we are.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Andrew. Here, louder, louder. Shoot a straight chugging into Atlanta. Screw the Braves, man. They're going in there and they're taking care of business, and I'm standing by my statement. At some point in this series, the Phillies are winning 3 straight. They might drop game 1. They're winning 2, 3, and 4. And if they win game 1, they're taking games 2 and 3, and the Phillies are sweeping the Braves, and they're heading back to the NLCS, and the Braves are going back home playing golf. And their 100-win season means squat. All right? I hear John Kincaid, but the Phils, they were so far behind from him in the playoffs. The regular season says, I don't care. The slate is empty. It's wiped clean to start the playoffs, all right? And the Phillies are already 2-0. The Phillies already had seen some pitching. Real pitching. Not some stupid simulated game they tried doing where 7 people went. If we ran a simulated playoff game, there would be 45,000 people at Citizens Bank Park. Not that fraudulent fan base. Screw them. All right. Is this like the Doc Leon? What's up, Doc?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
The great Doc Leon.
How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
I love that you called in. This is awesome.
Yeah. So 2 things. I'm working on inventing a new sport, a digital prototype for both spectators and players to be involved in the game. So I'm working at Temple University and at Drexel with Tom Sharp at Gossamer Games. But maybe think about the involvement of spectators, like with Trey Turner, how he turned the spectators, give him a standing ovation, how they turned it around.
Yeah.
So I was listening to the game on the other night, and that the tune for the Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. So I wrote some words for that I think would really add to the whole feeling of the game, because I think spectators can be more involved, do more to the game, and every game get more out of it and put more into it. So I can sing it for you, and we'll see what you think.
Please, Doc. I need it, Doc Leon. I need it.
Da 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 da. We all are the Phillies. We make them look silly. We hit to the spaces. We load up the bases. Da 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 da. Da, 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 da.
Dude, Ricky took his shirt off.
Don't let them steal. We win with a real. We swing and hit pitches. That's because they're our bitches.
Yeah!
Da, da, da,
Dude, they need to put that on the damn Fanavision and let everybody sing that when the Braves come into town, Doc.
Yes, we are the Phillies.
Oh, it keeps going.
We all are the Phillies. We're proud to be Phillies. Watch out for the Phillies. Da, 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 da.
How many more verses we got?
Da, 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 da,
Okay.
da, da.
That's the great Doc Leon, everybody. They need to put that at Citizens Bank Park, and I want to see that playing right before Spencer Strider walks out on the mound.
How do we get that to happen?
I'll call John Brazier, director of fun and games of Philadelphia Phillies.
Okay, give him my number, 866 Doc Leon. He can.
You're the man. 866 Doc Leon. Check him out. Doc, thanks for the call, man. How about that? Ricky was out there going nuts. He had a bat in hand. He was strumming it like a guitar. Dude, Doc Leon, I didn't know he was going to bring that kind of energy today. What do we got?
We got start times.
Oh, nice.
Games 3 and 4. I don't know how I could follow that with anything better, but I'm going to try my best here with the start times. This is from Matt Gelb. Phillies Braves game 3, 5:07 on Wednesday. Game 4 on Thursday, 6:07.
Oh, I love the 6:07. That's great. 6:07 because I'm done at 2. I think I have a meeting. Hopefully be done by 3. Plenty of time to get to the lots. And that's the game Christy and I are going to. If the Phillies don't sweep the Braves in 3.
Correct.
5:07 Wednesday, you said?
Yes.
All right. Good to know. Got to figure out babysitter situation. Because Christy doesn't go until 6. And I would have to leave at probably like 4. Got to figure that out. See? Thank you for bringing that news to us.
It's a great point. I have to figure out how I'm going to get wherever I'm going, too. So
you want to babysit Coop for me?
Love you, Coop.
Yeah, I doubt it. Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm busy that night.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. All right, we're going to get back to the Braves hate in a second because I see Sean from Pine Hill, who, I know he will stab us in the back the second the Eagles play the Giants, but I know that he can express good hate, so I want to hear it. But first, let's give some picks for the weekend, Ray. If you can fire up some football music, thank you. I appreciate it. We'll start another early game between the Jags and the Bills. Is this London?
London game.
Not a London game?
Another.
Oh, another. Okay. It's going to be Sunday, 9:30. Bills, 5.5-point favorites. Now, I will tell you right now, I'm taking the Bills. But the London aspect freaks me out because Jacksonville's used to playing there, and they were just out there.
Literally last week.
So they've stayed there. So the better in me wants to say take the Jags. But as I've said in the past, I'm not some legit better. I look at the two teams. I look at the team that I think is better. And, obviously spots happen and all that kind of stuff. Bills are the better team than the Jags. The Bills are on fire right now. I think the Bills have finally figured out what they're doing both offensively and defensively. I'm taking the Bills to cover the 5.5. But I will say that London aspect does kind of freak me out a little bit, especially because Jacksonville's been out there.
Yeah, the London thing makes me not want to touch this game at all.
Okay.
Makes me want to stay away from it entirely. If I had to lean, I would lean Jacksonville covering.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how that plays out Sunday morning. And then that leads us to the 1 o'clock slate of games. Texans in Atlanta. Houston. Outright. The Texans will beat that fraudulent team. I have bet against Atlanta every single week. And I will continue to bet against Atlanta every single week. And they had that dog bleep performance last week. They're going to lose to Houston. Houston's been a lot of fun to watch this year. I don't know why the Falcons are a slight favorite, probably because they're the more experienced team, even though Ritter's not that experienced. It's in Atlanta. I love what Houston's doing. I'm taking the Texans.
Yeah, if you give me the Texans as dogs against a team like that, I'll take them.
Exactly. All right, Detroit, 10-point favorites against Carolina. Am I crazy enough to say take Carolina plus the point with 10 points? I don't know what the deal is with Amon-Ra. The Panthers aren't a good football team. But I think this clock might be controlled between David Montgomery and then the ground game for the Panthers. Miles Sanders losing touches, by the way.
Wow.
Wait, so he's not that good?
Shocked.
And it's not a bad thing that he's not here anymore? Him and Chuba Hubbard are starting to split carries. I'm going to take the Panthers plus 10, mainly because if Amon-Ra's out, which if he's not practicing today, that's not a good sign. If he's out, the air attack's a little bit different for Detroit. Maybe it's a ground game focused attack. I'm going to take Panthers plus 10.
I like the Panthers plus 10 as well.
Okay. Titans in Indianapolis. Staying away from it because I like what the Colts are doing. The Titans, I can't believe they beat up the Bengals the way that they did. I don't know if they can do that again. I will say one thing. Take the under in this game, 42.5.
That's actually I think that's a good call. For me, I look at the Titans, and anytime I have a lean, I am on the wrong side of history with Tennessee.
They're such a hard team to bet.
They are so confusing. It's ridiculous. I can't believe Tannehill still has a job. I don't know what I'm doing with them anymore. So I am staying as far away as possible from this one.
All right, well, I'm going to say take the under. So that means I have a play in every game so far. Maybe I should get that checked out because I'm going to have another play in this one. Dolphins, 11.5-point favorites, lay it. The Giants stink. They're not winning. They're not going to come close to winning. The Dolphins are getting healthier. They now have weapons all over the place. It's Dolphins all day. I mean, if you want to do a teaser, you want to bring them down to 6.5 to give you that touchdown cushion. But I think the Dolphins cover the 11.5 against the Giants. They suck.
Yeah, I'm with
sorry,
you on the
Sean,
11.
who's listening.
I'm with you on the 11.5. The Giants at this point have broken my brain. Watching Daniel Jones actually hurts. Like it causes me physical pain. Monday night, I was watching that game and just in pain, in the sense of this is an embarrassment to the sport that I enjoy watching.
Yep, it is pretty bad. I believe it was DJ Khaled who said another one. Well, I'm giving you another play.
Oh, thank you.
Baltimore Ravens covering the 4.5 in Pittsburgh. Don't give me this divisional rival crap. Steelers are banged up. They're a mess. Their offense coordinator sucks. He's apparently got burner accounts out there now.
Oh, I saw that.
Go Baltimore covering the 4.5 in Pittsburgh.
Covering the 4.5, and I might throw a little on the over there. 38.
38's a low number.
I understand defensive teams, both teams banged up, and obviously the offensive coordinator for Steelers is a disaster. 38's a low number for me. I like to think that some points be thrown around. Life's too short to be looking for unders. I'm going with an over.
All right. My first stay away game, unless we do the coffee bet. We did a coffee bet last week. It was between the Rams and the Colts. Do you want to do a coffee bet Saints-Patriots? It's a pick 'em. Saints minus 110 on the road. Patriots minus 106. I'll let you take the pick, and I'll go with the opposite team.
I was going to have it for later with another 1-point spread.
All right, well then, okay.
Because I got it, but I don't want to force
That's Monday night. You want to do that now?
Yeah, that is Monday. All right, fine. We'll do this. Will be our coffee bet so we can settle this for Monday.
I'll let you pick the team.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you giving me the choice of these two options. I'll go with the Patriots.
Good, because I was going to go with the Saints.
Oh, I hate you.
Let's go. Coffee bet it is. Saints, Patriots. Loser buys the cup of coffee Monday morning. Bengals at Cardinals. I will let them hurt me again. Cincinnati covering the 3 against Arizona.
Yeah, I'll go with it again.
Okay. I mean, at some point, and I've been saying in my FanDuel reads, I think Jamar Chase scores a touchdown. Just realized the time. Eagles, Rams. I'm not playing it. Sorry.
Don't make me play it. Don't make me play it either,
playing.
Man.
Chiefs
ton on a terrible money line, I guess.
I'm not playing it. Chiefs, Vikings. Chiefs cover the 3.5. The Vikings are fraudulent. Jets, Broncos. Ew, not touching it. And then Cowboys, Niners. I think the Niners cover the 3.5, hosting the Dallas Cowboys.
Interesting.
There's that. You have a play on that one?
I might take the Cowboys cover.
All right, go for it. All right, I have 30 seconds. Sean, just tell me that you hate the Braves.
Well, here we go. Ready? Phillies bats are coming to life. The Phillies are bullpen clicking. Atlanta's Braves bullpen stinks worse than a bum. And guess what? I want to see Strider out there peeping his nut huggers in Game 4. And guess what, Braves fans? You have balls coming to this game. Guess what? That's not going to be a ring finger we're giving you. That's going to be the middle finger holding up, letting you know that we're number one. And we know what happens anytime.
All right, that'll do it. Great job. 10 seconds left, but that was great. That was a great 20-second call. Everybody have a great rest of your day. I'll be back Sunday for the pregame show. Bob Cooney and Pat Egan from